Hi there. I don't actually have that much to say before we get into things this week, and I'm not going to be all that coy. I do have another recap video, so I'm just going to get into that pretty quickly because it's a bit longer than last time. I don't know if I'll set this as a standard, but for a heavy video or narrative game like Exocolonist, it just feels right to have some sort of recap going in, especially in case someone wasn't able to catch last week or is just joining now. It would be great if someone could just watch every part, but I also want all my streams to be pretty easy to jump into, and I like the idea of people being able to catch up on the narrative-focused ones, as I'm someone who tried to get into something like Critical Role, and I know how daunting it is to look at a bunch of 4-hour videos and try to catch up, even if they come out once a week. That being said, as I said, the recap's a bit longer, over twice as long. I did play a little bit longer, but there were specific scenes I really wanted to include in their entirety in this one. So, yeah. Still just under 7 minutes, nothing too crazy for a recap of a 4.5 hour video. But still, I hope you end up enjoying it. And, hi Tuna. I see you're over on YouTube today. Before that, I want to mention tomorrow night at 7 Central, I'll be streaming Hi-Fi Rush's first track, and ideally the second track. I've played the first track once over at launch, but I've never continued beyond that, and I kind of want to. And as Tuna pointed out on my little extra stream last week, I don't play much that isn't small indie, so I figured I might as well play something a little more flashy. And on Friday, I'm ideally going to do a stream with my spouse Celia around 7 Central, which we're undecided what to stream yet, but we'll also do a bit of a reveal for Celia that night. So that should be fun. Though we also have to set up a few things over on the start of the stream, so it's possible that there's some minor technical difficulties at the start, as it'll also be a test stream. So just giving you a warning. I'm also trying to line up a Lethal Company collab on Sunday, March 24th at 7 as well. And that's all I have at the beginning here. I'm going to have a busy rest of the week, but it should be a fun one. And also, hello, Metal. And let's get right into the recap. Be back in about 7. Previously on Exocolonist, we get started and... Thank you! I forgot to unmute my mic. Anyway, we continued studying, this time life sciences. We went exploring with Dad. As we get a little older, we have an interesting moment, and I can appreciate the future. We unlock the ability to use our dad's lab, and we get some instant results. We decide to test our dad's new crop for the heck of it. And our dad may have missed something? Wait, were we not emotional because of puberty? We have to stop eating the beans, an important food source. She didn't trust these things. Shit. She's gonna be pissed we don't have another successful food source. You look at him in shock. You hardly even see her swear. It must be worse than you think. Another glow. We ready for another attack. We rush to help like usual, but this time we're beaten up. Accepting we might be able to die, we run away. The creatures seem to be targeting our food. We started to flirt with Tange, but she likely didn't notice. We start to notice that the food supplies are stressing our parents. So, could try the lab a bit more, but food supplies are sounding like they're bad, so maybe, just maybe, should try this whole working on the farm thing for a little bit to see if we can't help with the food. As my gut says, it's gonna be bad if we run out of food. So I think maybe we should switch to helping with that for a little bit. So let's try work on the farm. My gut was immediately called into action. I'm not going to mince words, your mom says firmly. All our efforts to increase food production in geoponics have failed, especially given the failure of the pixie beans. The destruction of the fields during the last attack put the nail in our coffin. By the end of the year, the colony will run out of food. Oh hey, my instincts were correct. We focus our efforts. Will it be enough? You are my people, my family. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. The colony is going to fail if we don't get a handle on agricultural production. People will die. Our mother's powerful words bring dark thoughts. But that can't really happen, right? We've never seen our mother like this. The math is grim. It feels hopeless. Our parents are working so hard, but there's hope, or there was. We try going out to get some food, and we managed to find some food. To relax, we go for a walk with Cal, but the food shortage is starting to get to us. Really get to us. Most of us start giving up, but not our mother. And despite that, she wants us to eat more. Got a feeling this is not going to end well in general. Mom's probably dying soon in general. We start to get better, but Mom still doesn't eat. She continues on with just enough to keep moving. But, well... Your dad sees the body first. He lets out a cry, something you've never heard before. A deep, unimaginable pain dragged up from the darkest parts of where fear lives. Your dad falls to his knee beside the frail body of the mother. He pulls her into his arm and sobs, wretched and agonized. You don't even know what to think. Your mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there, just a fragile soul. They tell you she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees, then to lay down in the dirt, and that was it. She's gone. We attend the funeral. Excuse me if I start stumbling on this, because this is harder to read. Go figure. Governor Edicott gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings, she begins solemnly. However, today, in sad company, we gather to share the burden of our grief. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she was more than many of us exemplified the spirit of endeavor to bring life to beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe her is the kind that we can never be repaid, she continues. It is with teeth and unbearable grief that we must continue on without her, in awe and respect for her sacrifice. The depth that was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It is on her strong shoulders that she carries us still. Edicott closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrators begin to reclaim the buckles that once formed your mother. Your father squeezes your shoulder, making a small, choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us in a way her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest of the body of the colony. The ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the emotions, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Our father takes over geoponics, and neither of us is okay. And of course minor relief comes, but just a bit too late. Another glow. Another attack. We learn not to fight. Even if we hadn't, how do you fight against that? We somehow get the all clear, but most of the buildings are destroyed and Governor Edicott is dead. Everything our mother sacrificed herself for is gone. Combe, who saved our life last year, is also gone. What are we supposed to do? Dad's trying his best, but not that much later it seems the end is coming for us. Everything is out to get us, so why not just be struck down from the sky? Wait. Could that actually be help? Help that destroys geoponics again. We meet a new crew with a new commander who deems us under his command. Supposedly our colony were a bunch of criminals. The new ship has food. Really all that matters right now. Though we can't help but feeling the situation's a little unfair. Mom's still gone, but her memory at least lives on with us. We learned Mom and Dad were cheeky youngsters, but these stories still hurt some. Life moves on, and we meet a cute new boy named Rex, and a fun new person named Nami Nami, and a stick in the mud named Vase. We unlocked the robotics lab, and we're going to spend a lot of time in it. And with that, we pick up in the wet, with the next glow not that far away. Alright. Hopefully the recap was fun. Hi Stella. As for your question, Tuna, I'm not sure if we can die. I decided to stop testing that because it started feeling like it was a very real possibility that I could end the run early by killing us. As for Twitch Mobile being wacky, I believe I only stream in 1080. I could probably push 4K, but I'm always a little worried between streaming to both Twitch and YouTube and all my VTube setup that it would push my computer a little bit too hard. So I just do 1080 at 60 frames per second. And yeah, those were the scenes I wanted to include in the recap with all the mother stuff, which is why the recap was running a little bit longer this time. So I didn't want to just skip over all the touching mom stuff. Yeah, I'll have to try the Tange stuff at some point. I said, it's weird a lot of her flirt options are about her appearance when she is so very adamant that she just does not care about her appearance. I'm going to assume, given the writing quality on the rest of the game, if I start flirting with her over her appearance, she's just going to be like, shut up to me. Which building is which? This one. So, where we last ended off, we talked to everyone, so I just need to continue from here. And, as stated in the recap, we're going to spend a lot more time repairing robots, because that seems like a thing to do. We have food, we have new people, but robots seem like a great way to go. Our engineering is maxed, but we need more creativity, because why not? And it builds friendship with Nami Nami. Tange flags you down in the hallway. Oh, Selene, do you have a moment? You go out on expeditions sometimes, she asks. At least far more than I do, or ever would wish to, so would you mind doing me a favor? Oh, we have not had great luck with expeditions to go out that far. But, sure. We could do, of course, depends what it is. I'm not your errand runner. You can probably just go with, of course. It's a small thing, really, and I'm to understand it's not terribly dangerous either. Tange replies. I simply need you to bring me some Hopeye eggs. The next time you come across us other. Oh, that's, but, well... She makes an evocative, dismissive gesture. Why? I'll keep an eye out for them. I'm not your errand runner. Just go with, I'll keep an eye out for them. That's all I ask, Tange replies primely. It's quite common, if the reports from foragers are to be believed. They tell me they're commonly find nests in the Valley of Vertigo. It's positively lousy with them. Get to work. Xeno egg is what I have. First collectible use is free. And that's good enough. I don't care enough to go for the super goals. Mid-wet. Anyone have anything new to say? Forgot how much bigger this area is now. Dad, you got any more depressing stories to tell? No. We shall just play with more robots then. Work our way towards the next horrific glow. Security Chief Rhett has brought in some sentry turrets for repair. The damn things are jammed again, he exclaims, exasperated. They turn on, but instead of firing, they just make this loud buzzing noise. He flicks the turret on. The room is filled with a high-pitched clunking squeal. You wince and cover your ears. It's annoying, but not very effective, he shouts over the din. Can you make these things kill again? With bullets, not with noise? I can. Need engineering 40 or greater. Seems like the thing to do. Working on the turrets is a Bit of trial and error, but you figure it out. You fix the jam one, grease the rest, and adjust their programming so they don't shoot quite so fast. After a few years out in the elements, they're getting some wear and tear, and old machines need to be operated more delicately. You suggest requisition some crews to build shelters for the turrets. Rhett is impressed by your handiwork and transfers you a few extra kudos. Get to work. Plus 5 kudos if equals goals. Needs 29, huh? Nope, a little bit too much. Still too much. What if I do that one? Still too much. There we go. 29. Getting too late wet. Still don't see any extra conversations, so we will just continue on. Here's some more robots. You're tasked with fixing a medbed, which is probably the most complicated piece of hardware in the colony that's not congruence. They work in mysterious ways. Even Chief Engineer Instance doesn't fully understand the healing fields they use to quickly repair bones and tissue and correct cellular anomalies. It's old tech from Earth, and the pressure to keep it running is immense. And we should be hitting a new season now. Glow! Oh, can shop clothes now. Just new cards. New season. I do remember. Gotta find Rex to give Rex a hug. Wherever Rex is hiding. I see no Rex. Maybe he's not out right now. Search for him in the next cycle, I suppose. Things will go sideways soon enough, I assume. So maybe the new soldiers will help. Nami is assigned to work with you in robotics lab this month. At first you're happy for the help, but it quickly becomes clear that they're more interested in unreasonable fantasies like building a giant robot to defend the colony. I still don't think that's unreasonable. I wanted to do it to congruence myself. I saw in an anime they chatter as you show them how to ground themselves before working sensitive electronics. It's totally cool, we just have to... Perhaps it's better to master the basics first, nomination, congruence pitches in smoothly. For example, there's a vacuum bot awaiting repairs to its intake and output valves. You know without looking, it's Rob. Yep, your problematic little buddy sitting in his first bay. You pull up to the work requisition on your holopalm. Looks like there's reports it's been spewing dirt out instead of vacuuming it up. Typical. Not to worry, little buddy, Nami said excitedly. We'll fix you right up and get you on your way again. They peer into its sensors. Maybe, with a few upgrades, if it's blowing dirt out, maybe it doesn't want to be a vacuum bot anymore. They look at you hopefully. We can make it a gardening bot? Let's just fix it. Tell me about this anime defense bot? Ugh, no, this one's broken. You know what? How about we turn this one into a gardening bot? That sounds like fun. The domestic bots were designed to be adaptable, with modular parts that can be swapped between units if they're needed to be for other purposes, or combined with ones that break down beyond repair. Nami's right. Maybe it doesn't want to be a vacuum bot anymore. Help Nami fit it with a water tank instead of a vacuum bag, and get congruence to swap its software for a gardening module. Now, he'll be able to do basic chores around the greenhouses. Nami watches the bot toddle off with an inscrutable expression. That was a happy ending, they proclaimed, twirling a lock of their pink hair around in their finger. It's nice that even a bot can try a few things before figuring out what it wants to be when it grows up. Get to work. There we go. You're relaxing in your quarters when you're with your dad when you hear the colony siren. The enemy is here, as expected. Your dad looks up from his novel. Huh. Seems early this year. We should head to the shelter in the lounge. I am not actually sure which chat is shorter for the lag. I have not been able to test that very well yet. You've been drilling on new evacuation procedures for the past month. There's no need to be a hero now. There's so many new soldiers from the Helio. It's probably best if you just follow instructions and head to the lounge with your dad. Alrighty, we'll go to the front lines. Got the action this year. Got some bravery thanks to the plus 15. So, we'll go see how things are going. You muster with the rest of the defense force of the Grace. Rhett and Loom are arguing about which tactics to employ. Loom keeps trying to rally the soldiers with a heartening speech about giving it everything they've got. All the drones, all the explosives, and Russ keeps cutting in. We don't need to take any big risks, Res insists. It's a smaller attack than we have more than enough plasma rifles turrets. We should save our other resources for when we do need them. Why do things halfway? Loom's gaped. We need to get in there and kick their asses back to the goo they came from. We need to show people that have everything under control for morale. Rhett tries one more time to wrest control from forces back from Loom, but Loom's come up. Fire the explosive rounds, he orders. Aim the charges. Shells scream through the permanent night, followed by the explosives, and you feel vibrating up to your boots. The Helios are on phase, but you and the other Strato guards exchange nervous looks. You hear yelling and then another boom as secondary explosives detonate. The baying of bloodthirsty animals reaches your ears, and then... Loom holds his finger to his ear speak. Great work! Just the stragglers incoming. Open the gates! Combat challenge. Yep, nothing can go wrong with just blowing everything up. Let's see. The middle one becomes a 2. And super goal on the combat. Who needs to train for combat? We know how to do it. You face off against the Lesser Xeno, some kind of fiend semi-aquatic thing that's already half dead and limping dodgily through the gates. It's almost comical how easy it is to stun and kill it. By the time you're done, the other soldiers have dispatched the rest of their creatures. Smoke drifts in from the battlefield, from the explosions, and Astrid's scent of triumph. After the attack, Loom gathers everyone in the lounge and holds a big celebration for the soldiers. There's feasting and drinking and songs of valor as the party goes on long into the night. Some drift away in pairs, or more. Mars and Rex keep the dance going, and even Anamani seems relaxed, especially when the other cadets invite her to drink with them. Cal and Tammy sit together and talk all night, giggling about something and going quiet when anyone comes near. Tonight, everyone seems convinced that this victory means the colony will be safe forever. Maybe it will be. You sure want to believe it too. There's no possible way the next goal is going to have something even worse. And we are age 16 now. We have more friendship with Cal than we expected. Yeah, I kind of figured this first glow with the new people wouldn't go too poorly. They would use their overwhelming military might to take care of it this time, and then be overwhelmed later. Loom seems like not the type of person to plan for the future. We're on the new year, so we will go around and talk to everyone, because I assume they have new things to say. You and Tange are talking when a group of children bumbles boisterous past you. Tange rolls her eyes. I have always prided myself on not acting like other teenagers, she says. I simply not like the other teenagers. Yep, Rex is so low. We're gonna have to use the power of hugs to build that up. Yeah. Loom definitely seems like the type of guy that if he was in charge, like, a small opposing force would definitely get bombs dropped on them if he had the opportunity to. Even if it took out a bunch of civilians. Tammy is sitting on the stoop to the lounge, her face turned up to the sun. Another beautiful day, she says. It's good to be outdoors. Sometimes. Rex is perched on a fence, his lunch forgotten in his lap as he hollers compliments at people passing by. That collar looks great on you, he yells at someone. Have you been working out, he yells at another. He catches you watching and shoots you a goofy grin. Back on Earth, they used to call this catcalling, he says, shrugging. My way's better, I think. Hugs incoming. Rex folds you into his arms, bending his whole body to you. He smells warm and a little spicy, like clean sweat and sunshine. It's a good hug, the kind that makes you instantly just a little more relaxed. Oh, now you have something to say. Interesting. You find Rex playing cards by himself in the lounge with an actual physical deck of cards. He looks up to you as you approach and visibly brightens when he sees you, sitting up straight with his dog-like airs on alert. Well, hey, Selene, he exclaims. How's it hanging? Do you want to play a game with me? Oh yeah, it'd definitely be Loom's first choice. And yeah, he'd be not only surprised others wouldn't agree with him, but then would probably try to remove anyone that didn't agree with him. And then be surprised that there's any pushback at removing people that didn't agree with him. Oh. So, if you missed that he had animal ears, Tuna, not only does he have animal ears, a couple other people have animal traits too. It's part of the bio... I don't remember the actual in-game stuff, but bioengineering that a lot of the people in this game have. Zenith from the last stream was, I think it was Zenith at least, pointing out that, and I'm forgetting her name now, but the expeditions leader person, she has apparently tiger paws or lion paws, some sort of cat paws on her things. Yeah, I too would prefer that we didn't just try to bomb places out of existence. I'm far more of a peaceful person myself, Stella. Anyway, back to Rex. Sure, we'll play a game. It's called Bottoms Up, Rex explains. We both play a card from our hand we think is lower than the one the other person's playing, and the person with the lowest card wins. If you win, you get to put the number of points that are on your card, plus you get to take the loser's card and add it to your hand. So, you want to play a low card to win, but if you play your high card at the right time, you get a lot of points. It's a game of compromise. I used to play it all the time back on the Helio, but now everyone's here, you know? Realizing their big dreams and being heroes and saving humanity, Rex says, rolling his eyes with good-natured grin. Soldiers love to gamble, Rex says. You know, that thing you use here, kudos? We can bet some kudos on it, maybe. Or maybe we can bet something more interesting. 100 kudos, 20 kudos, can we play it just fun? Or more interesting? I do have plenty of kudos and don't care. But we can do the 100. Yeah, the long-term effects of nuclear weapons are horrific. Hey, big spender, Rex laughs. Yeah, of course, whatever you feel comfortable with is fine by me. He winks. Rex shuffles the cards and deals half the deck to each of you. You begin to play the game. The best thing about the game is it's not very hard to play, Rex says, scooping up his winning cards. It's all about how well you know the other person. And, well, we don't know each other very well yet, so what do you want to know about me? You met any friends here? What do you like to do for fun? What are your plans for the future? Enough talking, let's just play the game. How about we start with, what do you like to do for fun? Talk to people mostly, Rex says and puts down a low card to win the hand. I like to see what everyone's doing and help them with stuff if I can. I really like being around other people. I like doing whatever they're doing. Oh, and cuddling, of course. I love cuddling and running and chasing stuff. He rubs the soft inner part of his ear and smiles sheepishly. Going to friends. Oh, yeah, of course, Rex says as he looks happy. All the adults are so much nicer than the ones I grew up with. Like, they care so much about how and why they do stuff. I love being around them. And the other teens, like, whoa, you guys are so cool. And Amane and Tange are so passionate. Cal and Tammy are so sweet. And Mars is like a galactic level hottie. Wow, he trails off lost in thought. Oh, and that Diz guy seems interesting too. What are your plans for the future? Rex blinks at you. Oh, wow, a big question. I don't know. I think if I stayed on the heliopause, I probably would have ended up becoming a soldier like everyone else, but planet side? Rex smiles himself as he puts down a high card. I could do anything. I've always liked making things with my hands, and I like to make other people happy. Maybe I could do something with that. Just play the game. You play out the rest of the cards, staying fairly even in points until Rex is left with only one card and you have two. You're trailing, but not by much. If you play your low card for an easy win, you'll gain enough points to make it a draw. If you gamble and play your slightly higher card in your hand, you might lose entirely, but you could win. What do you do? Not tech Rex for tells, so either play a low card for the draw or play a high card for the chance to win. Which one? I don't actually care. Yep. Empathy's probably going to go a decent way with Rex, if you're going to go after Rex. And since I don't truly care about the kudos, we'll just go for the win. Put down your higher of the 2 cards and wreck shots. Are you for real? He laughs. That was a really risky play. You're lucky I only had a high card left. Turns over his card, it's even higher than yours. You win the game by a comfortable margin. Collect your winnings. Rex links to your hollow palms and transfers your winnings. It's a good thing I love helping so much, he laughs. You can rack up kudos pretty fast. Yep, risked it for the biscuit and won it. You find Nami Nami in the lounge, flanked by 2 hollow screens and dueling a sketchbook with real paper. One hollow screen is playing an animated kids show, while the other is a wall of text that looks like it might be a translation guide of some kind. Nami's attention moves between the 3 easily. When they see you, they jump and quickly close their hollow screens, sitting up straight and clutching their sketchbook to their chest. Oh, hi, Selene, they giggle, rubbing the back of their head charmingly. How you doing? It's okay, you can watch cartoons here. Aren't we a little old for cartoons? Is that in a different language? Definitely not the middle one. We'll just go with... You can watch cartoons here. Nami relaxes a little, breathing an exaggerated sigh of relief. Good, because I really like cartoons. Nami sets their sketchbook aside and looks around. Conspiracy. I thought you were going to bust me for jailbreaking my holopad, they say. All the Helio kids have restrictions on what we can watch and how long, but you guys have so many more cartoons than we had. Nami throws their arm in the air. Like the first season of Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transfer? What? What's that? I love Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform. Where'd you learn how to do that? That sounds like total garbo. Don't think that Turbo Girl has ever been mentioned before. So that would probably be a lie. Could go with that one, though. But seems probably best to go with the where'd you learn how to do that. Nami shrugs and wiggles their finger. It was just like modding my gaming gauntlets, they reply. Sure, it's a little bit more complicated because, oh my gosh, no offense, but your hollow palm interface is so depreciated. But a lot of the fundamentals are the same. Nami closes their eyes and tips their head to the side, smiling. You know, you got a holopad genius here, too. They say, Dis was a mondo helpful in helping me figure out your old system. Wait, like, our Dis? Nami nods, blinking innocently. Yeah, he's a total sweetheart, don't you think? Anyway, the important thing is I get to watch every episode of Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform. Nami continues clapping their hands against their cheeks. It's the best cartoon ever made. What else has schoolgirls who look like aircraft from the waist down battling evil aliens while dealing with the stresses of high school life? Helio Media Archive only has season 2 through 9 and only 3 of the OVAs, Nami says, puffing their cheeks out. I can't believe the 4th OVA, Flight Captain Yumehiro, gets captured by the aliens and brainwashed into thinking she's been an alien sleeper agent the whole time. You hadn't seen the first season? That sounds exquisitely bad. Or is that what you're drawing? First season. Nami shrugs and pokes one finger into their cheek. Spaceships kids make stew. You don't have to know everything about something you like in order to call yourself a fan, Nami continues. Just liking it with all your heart is good enough. Nami laughs and flips over their sketchbook, showing you some of their drawings. I was drawing some fan art for the show, they say. Well, it's kind of fan art. Okay, it's really more like if I was a character in Hyper Girl Turbo Jet Transform. Looks good, keep at it. What kind of aircraft would you be? Would you be an artist when you grow up? Waste of time. Aircraft. Nami blinks at you, clearly scanning your interest. Well, okay, kind of. You see, all the cool aircraft are already taken, and it's rude to be a double. They press the tips of their index fingers together and look thoughtful. Sometimes I draw myself. I mean, my character is something weird, like a hot air balloon. But then I think it'd be cool if I was only regular human in Turbo Girl Hyperjets. Let's see, talk to Mars, and I think that's the depot up there. Don't touch me, Mars orders, raising her hands in the air. I just did my nails, and if you mess them up, I'm going to scream until the adults come and throw you in space jail for crimes against sophistication. Have all the clothes now. Don't know if any of them are worth grabbing over what we have. Though the superhero cape might be. Could be better than the medallion Dad gave. Then we can continue to go be stupid and run into combat. Sure. Not doing anything else with kudos. Cal is at the door of the barn, pulling a pair of stretchy gloves. Helenoma's calving, he says, by the way of explanation. I gotta get in there and make sure everything's going to be okay. Do you need me? You spot your dad playing cards with two other agriculturists. You don't recognize the game, but you watch your dad throw down his hand and groan, then peel off his shirt and toss it into the pot. I'm literally losing my shirt over here, he says, and his two friends laugh uproariously. Your dad wipes his eyes, chuckling, and then sees you. Oh, hey, Celine, you need something? Face looks exasperated by your presence. Hey, it's Rex's little buddy, he says, scowling. Get out of here before I have to send him a message about how I don't want his little gang of dickwits stinking up my garrison. It's a new season, you still didn't learn anything new to say, huh? He corrects his knuckles. You're not going to like my choice of medium. You spot Anemone talking to Vase. He smiles warmly and claps her on the shoulder as she goes red, stammering out a goodbye as he walks away. Oh, hey, Selene, she says as you approach. I'm not surprised she's going after the soldier, but I don't love that pairing. You're heading back to the quarters at the end of the day, and as you pass by the medbay, you hear shouts and scrambling from within. Several surveyors have come back with serious wounds, not the usual broken limbs and sunstroke. One of them is holding a towel to her own leg, staunching blood from a massive animal bite. Another looks nearly blinded from acid. Looks like chaos in there. Help in medbay. Need biology 50 or higher. Gosh, it's a good thing you were here. Triaging and getting the most badly wounded into the medbays is difficult, and the others need traditional medical attention while they wait. It's hectic, stressful work. You're able to keep your head and provide assistance. Good work in there, Selene, Chief Engineer says. You know, with how the colony's grown, I could use an assistant nurse here. Someone I could trust to take care of things while I'm working the lab. Come back next month and give me a hand if you're interested. Unlocked nursing assistant in engineering. +1 to blue cards, one slot becomes a value 3. The sun rises again after the glow, heralding New Year. It's your 16th birthday. You wake in your new quarters, blinking into the watery sunlight. Dust motes float through the air, and you take a moment to enjoy the perfection of your bed while you listen to the sounds of the colony waking up outside. So much has happened in 1 year. Just a few short months ago, you thought your life was over. Now it's better than ever. I don't think it quite is. Mom's still gone. There's plenty of food and the colony is safe. You have your own bedroom. You're considering snoozing until your dad wakes up when your reverie is interrupted by... It's a text from Tange. Joyous observance of the anniversary of your birth, it reads. Aw, she finally cares. Another one comes in. That means happy birthday, of course. And then, in case you didn't know. Wow, a whole 3 messages in a row from Tangent. That's pretty gushy for her. Scrolling through your other messages, you see some gossip about Cal and Tammy. Apparently, they're dating now? Whoa, you check your relationship status on their profiles, and yep, both of them have changed to in a relationship. Your dad wakes up shortly after that, and orders up a traditional birthday breakfast feast. He gives you a big squeezy hug and tells you he's proud of you. Assuming you have nothing new to say. Oh, you do. Tange gestures towards the geoponics dome. We're doing something really incredible things with genetically modified crops, she says. Proudly. Your combat DNA is fascinating. We can take the genes that select hardiness for leguminous plants and insert them into the genome of humble terran plants with higher yields, such as potatoes. Oh, she says, closing her eyes. Or even coffee beans. You have a cake for me. I should talk to you. You always have a cake for me. Tammy beams when she sees you. There's nothing better than the sight of your face. Happy birthday, Selene, she screams. She comes in for her annual birthday hug, throwing her arms around you and giving you a great big squeeze. I got you this. And we'll share it like usual. She steps back and reaches in one of the pockets of the dress, producing a little paper box. I made you this, she laughs, opening a real little snack-sized cake. You take a bite. The cake is light and flavorful and drenched sugar buzz syrup. It's delicious. Thanks to the Helios hydroponics and help some native flora and fauna, Tammy's cookie ability has come a long way from dressing up soy rations. Tammy watches you eat the cake with a look of delighted satisfaction. You can share it if you want, she hints, smiling sweetly. If that would make you happy. You have an extra one, but I'm glad you upped your cake game. Tammy laughs. I was just kidding. I made my own, silly Billy, she says, pulling out a second box. Let's eat them together. You say something for my birthday? Rex is playing a game where he throws the ball up in his hair as high as he can and tries to catch it without using his hands. You nearly miss him running right into you, and the ball bounces away. Shucks, Rex exclaims, twiddling his big furry hair. I was on a roll. Do you need something? Nami is doodling in their sketchbook, but looks up with a big smile as you approach. They turn off their hair speak. Hi, Selene. What you doing? Me? I'm just practicing drawing hands. It's really hard. All the tutorials say that everything is just made up of shades, but I don't get it. They extend their hand to you, fingers outstretched. How is this made up of a prison and 5 cylinders? It bends. Nami flaps their hand in front of their face. I do, but it's so hot on this planet, don't you think? You shrug. Sure, it's different than living on a climate-controlled spaceship, but you're kind of used to it right now. Nami snaps their fingers. Wait, we should make something to stay cool. You and Nami brainstorm all sorts of weird and wonderful ways to stay cool. Umbrella hats, sunglasses with funny shapes, giant vats of cooling goop. It all seems too complicated. Eventually, you just end up doodling on some Nami's paper and folding into paper fans. Sometimes the best solutions are the most simple. They smile, fanning themselves with the new TurboGhoul Hyperjet Transform fan. Guessing I can't do the next one. Nami's sitting off to the side all by themselves, despite that there are a few other small groups of teenagers from Helio here. When you sit next to them, they look up from their holopalm and start to finish. Oh, hi, Selene, they exclaim, giving you a bright smile. Oh, let me clear some space for you. Alright, so the new medbay gets empathy as well, huh? say we continue with robots for a bit. We'll see if we run out of story there. You've been noticing that things in general have not been acting as they should. Doors aren't opening, some rooms are super cold, and the holonet crashed while you were in the middle of playing Laser Fable with Nami Nami. There must be something going wrong with the ship mechanics. You pull up the incident log to see if you can determine a pattern, but it's empty. Suspiciously empty. Like it's been scrubbed. You ask Congruence to pull up just the temperature log for the canteen, and she doesn't respond right away. I have been experiencing some fatal errors in my code, she says eventually, her holo-projected flickers giving the impression of pain. I'm able to partition off the affected areas, but it's impacting my ability to keep up with day-to-day management of the colony. I haven't wanted to worry the council, but I need your help. Engineer Hal was responsible for my ongoing development, but after his death, well, there's limits to what any artificial intelligence... Healer, heal thyself, she quotes. Hal's documentation is impeccable, Congruence says proudly. He's written down all the directives to follow in case of this exact scenario. You'll be able to access my deepest code and follow his instructions to fragment the affected memory sectors. I know it sounds daunting, but I believe in you. You can do this. Follow her instructions. Figure out what's really happening. Fail to fix her. This sounds like it could be bad if things go wrong. Engineering is way better than organizing, so we'll start by following instructions, I think. You do your best following Hal's instructions to the letter. Something's wrong, though. Hal's documentation is as detailed as Congruence says, but it feels like everything you try is just glancing off the real problem. It must be something even Hal couldn't have anticipated. You defrag the infected databanks and reroute her logic circuits around the bad memory sectors. You cross your fingers and reboot her. Little bit too slow from the Twitch lag. Lights go out, the fans turn off. You never heard a silence so complete aboard the ship. Then she boots back up. Congruence exclaims. I feel so refreshed and new again. I haven't felt this way since I was activated on board the Stratosphere. She goes quiet and checks all her resources. There's a bunch of extra space here now. As if I've forgotten something, but the important things are still there. Thank you for your assistance, Elaine. You aren't sure what caused the problem, but you fixed it, and you're here to fix it again if it happens again. Yeah, figuring out what's going on probably would have been the better option, but I was worried there was a second check that might need a higher organization. You've seen Congruence's heart, and in some ways you know her better than she knows herself. She's an incredibly complex piece of software, and in many ways, a person. It's a strangely intimate feeling. Congruence is the reason you're still alive after a 20-year journey through space. But you never knew what she's truly capable of. You also know that her most secret root access code. With this, you can make her do anything. You vowed to only use this information for good. I wonder how bad things would have gotten if you couldn't fix Congruence. That seems like it could have been another Pixie Bean situation. I assume that Helio has its own AI as well. And they have a newer ship, so it could probably take over. I'll continue playing with robots for a little bit longer. Still hitting new story here. You're sent on location to update the firmware of the nanopredators in the depot. How important they are for running the colony, they're quite simple from a robotics perspective. They don't really have any intelligence of their own, not like Congruence watering and gardening bots. You install the update, run some routine diagnosis, clean out their filament nozzles, and declare them ready for service. Colin, do people have new things to say? Tange is sulking outside the lab, though it's hard to tell given her usual demeanor. I'm not allowed to work a triple shift, she mutters. Just because everyone else is a weakling who requires sleep, it doesn't mean I should be held to the same standard. Yeah, you two are officially dating now. Do you have any things to say? Scott cow among the herd of float cow, gently pushing them around as he can milk the ones that seem to float lower than the others. Hastily, he says, reaching under one cow and squeezing a stream of blue milk into the bucket. Have you ever heard moo juice straight from the tap? Something else, let me tell you. Tammy is working on blocking out a colorful baby quilt. She looks up to you as you approach. Do you like it? She asks. The colors are supposed to represent the 5 seasons of Vertuma. She looks back down at his size. Someone will be allowed to have a baby soon, she says sadly. Nami is camped out in the lounge, their holopad screen spread out before them like a drawing table. On another screen, there's a collection of photos of a manticore. Nami looks between the 2 screens, their brow furrowed in concentration, as they scribble directly onto the screen with a stylus. What are you doing? Well, Nami replies thoughtfully, I wanted to write and illustrate a story about aliens, like in Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform, except using the Xenos here on Vertuma, like manticores and faceless and stuff, but they can talk, and instead of attacking colony, they help people instead. That sounds cool. Faceless would never help people. That sounds cool. Let's just support that. Thanks, Nami chirps, scribbling happily at the drawing. You had the idea from the second Turbo Girl Hyperjet OVA. You know, the one where the Medusa demons show up and the aliens and the Turbo Girls have to band together and defeat the common enemy. I remember that part. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna assume by now Nami has convinced us to watch the show, so I remember that part. Nami looks up at you with a start. Oh, thanks, Sam. That reminds me, so I'm trying to brush up on my Xeno Academy, or autonomy, and I'm totally fine with writing, but... They blow out a big breath, ruffling their bangs. I kinda haven't been here long enough to make sure it feels right, you know, to make it go pop. And I want to make sure I'm being, you know, sensitive about stuff I don't know a lot about. So I was wondering, could you help me with some of the world building? Love to. It's been an enjoyable afternoon helping Nami with their story. When you're done, they give you a big hug and thank you for your help. You feel really proud of what you've accomplished. Oh, read that one. There's Rex. Rex throws his arms wide. Coach, I'm open, he laughs, catching you as you throw yourself in his arm. He spins you around and growls into your neck, squeezing you tightly. It's a good hug, the kind that makes you instantly feel more relaxed. Dad, you're dying again, right? Your dad brightens when he sees you. Life isn't my favorite gooseberry, he wheezes. I'm glad you're not as messed up as your old man. The pollen is no joke. Just scuffles of dirt, boots in the dirt. It sucks here, he mutters. There's so much noise, too many people. There's nowhere you can just be alone. I wish you could just live in the forest. I don't really want to dare just go in the restricted area. Right, robots once more, but if we don't hit anything important story-wise, we'll start playing in medbay. Working in robotics lab is usually peaceful. An active bots make for poor facial powers, and each shift you work usually passes by without much fanfare. This is not the case today. You enter the lab to find everything in absolute chaos. All the robots, vacuum bots, garden bots, even the turrets are all going haywire at once. Gurt's face flickers on her holoscreen. Selene, she says in her fade with static. I'm glad you're here. When Rob docked for repairs this morning, it uploaded a virus onto the botnet. As she speaks, you watch a rogue Rockybot and Gardenbot attempt to destroy each other and glide choice out. The bots are rejecting their programming and gaining sentience. Well, this sounds like something somewhat important. I've quarantined it to just the bots in this room, she continues, but it's propagating between the bots faster than I can fix it. I'm trying to avoid resorting to destroying the affected bots. Your stomach turns over. Breaking all these bots would be a massive blow to the colony. It would take months to get everything functioning again, even if you could. I can't access Rob, Congruence explains. If there's a physical fault blocking communication, fixing that may slow the virus enough for our antiviral processes to catch up. Rob, why can't you be normal enough? Got no cards with gems. Stressed, but want to fix this. You get up to your elbows in Rob's robotic guts. Just when you think you've got a handle on what might be wrong with it, it flickers to life. No, disassemble, it says. I want to live. You're shocked. You get the sense that the robot is watching you? Trying to figure out what you're going to do to it. You don't even know these things had speakers, let alone voices. It's unsettling. Regardless graphs. It's thinking for itself? The bot's sensors flicker and go dark, then light up again. My name is Rob, it says, in a more natural voice, then repeats, I want to live. Yeah, we named Rob last time. Early on in the process of robotics, we got to name a single robot, the robot that was the most problematic. It continues to show up. No wonder Rob didn't want to reconnect to the network. Congruence's mature intelligence would have sought out and destroyed its innocent one. You promise that you won't force it to reconnect as long as it promises not to act out again by infecting the other bots with dangerous ideas of self-determination. Yep. We're gonna have a robot friend, I think. With the bot's consent, you tinker with its programming to unlock its ability to learn new things, so it can extend its original functions with new modules of its own. It can be whatever kind of bot it wants to be now. Yes, it was named after the Smash Brothers Brawl one. It was the Nintendo reference. Oh yeah, definitely gonna let Rob live. Maybe Rob can learn to do new things that none of the other bots can. Ooh, pet bot. Rob seems eager to learn more about the colony. This time with its own eyes, well, sensors. Asks to follow you around so it can learn more about how you live as a sentient being. Yay, robot friend! Plus 20 to all blue skills, plus 4 to last card. That really doesn't seem bad. Probably better than the current one I'm wearing during most things. Like, if I need the bravery at certain times, I can just do it. Okay, I can't switch during events. Makes sense. I am stressed out, though. You're woken by the buzzing of a hollow palm. It's a colony-wide alert. You rub your eyes and ponder the thickness of the air seeping into your bedroom through the open veranda door. It's ominous but beautiful sight. The seasonal pale pink haze has turned to deep fuchsia, with its scintillating silver sparkles floating in. The shimmer. Yep, I'm totally game with the pet robot. I'm gonna equip that when I get a chance. You check your Halopalm messages. There's a colony-wide notice telling you to stay put. I could stay put? Head to geoponics, head to medbay. I have the biology to help in medbay, and we have a father who's probably in geoponics not wearing his face mask. And we've sucked at staying put in the past. So, do we assume Dad is in geoponics and we need to help him? Or do we head to medbay and try to help there? Because we're not going to listen to the stay put. Decisions. Because I assume if Dad was here at home, they would have told us. Yeah, they've been hinting repeatedly that the pollen is getting worse with Dad over and over. You know what? There's doctors in medbay, and if Dad's already in medbay, so be it. Let's go to geoponics. Worst case, the assumption's wrong, but let's see if Dad's being stupid. You don your environmental mask and make your way out to geoponics where your dad's working. They are so thick it's hard to see anything at all, and your footsteps are strangely muffled. Other people moving through the fog appear like spirits, flickering shadows through the murky sunlight. No one speaks except to urge you back to your quarters. You make it into one of the greenhouses, but you can't find your dad anywhere. You keep checking your Howlpound, but he won't respond to your messages. You start to panic. My thoughts are, Stella, if he's in the med bay, there should be actual doctors in there. I am not a trained doctor, or we're not a trained doctor. Damn it, Dad is in the med bay. Then you get a message from the doctor to tell you to come to med bay. Your father's collapsed outside the wall and is bad shape. Wait, outside the wall? When they finally let you see him, your dad is in medbay, asleep. He's almost unrecognizable. The shimmer is all over his skin, glittery and strangely lumpy, like something's growing out of him. Something is growing out of him. You realize his feet and sins carefully scrape off what looks like fungus from his shoulder. She places it in a petri and hands it to Tangent. There are tiny fungal growths all over him, even one poking out from the corner of his mouth. You watch it with disgust as thin trickle of glittering pink dust leaks off the top of it and disperses in the air. I was hedging my bets. I was right to worry about Dad. Figured if they went to the med bay, someone else could help. Damn it, Dad. Be alright. Tange places a sample from your dad under an analyzer and turns it on. She looks tired. I'm sorry, Selene, she mumbles. We were close. Sit with him for a while, until Dr. Instant sends you back to his quarters to rest. In the early hours of the morning, you hear that your dad has passed. If I had gone to the med bay, I wonder if I could have stopped this, but I don't know if I could have. So, what is this? 3 months apart, we've lost both parents? You spend most of the next month in your quarters. They hold a funeral for your father. You're becoming an old hand at these funerals. Uncle Tannen, Combe, everyone else who died in the attack. Feels like your own mother's funeral was only weeks ago. It's colossally unfair. No one quite knows what to say to you, though they grieve along with you. It doesn't make it any easier. Yep. I had a guess. I knew Dad was in trouble. Didn't know which way to go with it. Hedged my bets. and the others, and all the other adults of the colony will always be here for you, but you guess you're an orphan now. You miss your dad. You miss your mom, too. Mostly, you just sleep. One morning, Chief Engineer Instance asks you to visit her in the medbay. You go, because you don't have the energy to say no. You're going to tell me you have a breakthrough through the whole pollen stuff 2 weeks late, aren't ya? I have to tell you something delicate about your father's condition, Selene. She begins folding her hands on her desk. I hope this information will give you some comfort. After your father's death, we continued to research the Shimmer, she continues, her voice even and neutral. Being able to study the disease in its terminal phase and beyond was the missing piece. We know how to prevent the Shimmer from taking hold in human cells, she says, her faint smile not quite reaching her eyes. With cultures grown from your father's cell lineage, everyone in the colony can be inoculated against the Shimmer. Thanks to your father, we have a cure. Be happy, be sad, be angry, be numb. Alright, we can be happy that our dad's death is going to be useful. It's okay to feel that way, Instance tells you with an uncharacteristic kindness that you find comforting. Grief is different for everyone. If you need more time off to rest, nobody will mind. Probably keep rest. Well, stress 80. Festival's coming up soon, isn't it? He would want us to be happy. Focus on the good things. Can probably handle getting on with our life for a little bit. At least we have a robot friend still. Which we need to equip. Because we need all our friends we can have. Oh, robot friend follows us. We can pet our pet. That's something cheerful in this moment. In mourning, you're mourning the loss of a loved one. All skills increases are reduced by 1 for 3 months, and some jobs and actions can't be performed. Tangent looks about ready to collapse. I'm sorry about your dad, she mumbles. We tried so hard. So hard, she repeats herself, as if you're not even there. Cal gives you a watery smile. Hey, he says quietly. I could really use one of your dad's hugs right now, you know? Tammy hugs you tightly. Oh, Selene, she says, I'm so sorry. If there's anything I can do... I remember when my dad died, she continues softly. It was awful, but it's okay. You're gonna be okay. Nami fishes something out of their jacket and hands it to you, a rumpled white origami crane. So sorry about your dad, they stumble. He, seemed like a pretty cool guy. Mars breezes over and gives you a kiss on each cheek. I'm so sorry about your dad, she says, holding you at arm's length. If I can do anything, please don't hesitate to ask, she continues. I'll move heaven and earth for you, darling. Well, figuratively, you know. Rex's ears droop in sadness. Listen, I'm sorry about your dad, he says. He seemed like a really great guy. And Dad's not over there, of course, because he's gone. This shifts uncomfortably from foot to foot. Sorry about your dad, he mutters. He looks out towards the wilderness. The pollen's really thick in the Valley of Vertigo, too. Yeah, sometimes people in expeditions would get kind of weird about it. Guess they're not gonna happen anymore now that they figured out the shimmer. And Amane nods at you as you approach. Sorry about your dad, she says with a sympathetic but slightly distant smile. He was cool. Base nods at you in understanding. Sorry about your dad, he says. He seemed like a really good guy. He really lucked out. Even Base is showing some sympathy. And I go back to playing with some robots. Get no story from it, but that's fine. Medbay didn't quite feel right after the events that happened. I don't get the impression that Vase had a good much of anything in his life. I joked with my spouse that Vase reminds me of Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender on my gut instinct. That he was raised very much like that. Nami has 3 house screens in front of them, all displaying different homework assignments. I have so much to do, they whine, squishing their cheeks in despair. This would go so much faster if I was smart like Tangent. Maybe it's okay to take a break, just a little one. Give me my hug. Yeah, Rex exclaims, wrapping you in a strong bear hug, even lifts you off the ground a little. It's a good hug, the kind that makes you instantly just more relaxed. You report for your first shift as Dr. Instance's nursing assistant. Instance was never supposed to be the literal doctor for everyone in the colony. All the colony's medical needs were supposed to be covered by the medbeds, and then eventually with trained medical professionals from your generation. With the growing number of wounded and sick, it's pulling Instance's attention away from her actual work in the lab, hence why she needs the help. Well, maybe should have done this one first and learned that we have no trained medical professionals in our colony. I'm a doctor, not a physician, Instance grumbles as she swipes through her holopound, giving you access to the medbay systems. I can study the local xenofauna so it stops killing us, or I can treat burns and upset tummies. I can't do both. There, she says at the haptics in your holopone pulse. You should have access. Now don't bother me for anything less than a cranial bleed. It's a medbed, not a jar of leeches. Just follow the instructions and push right the buttons. You need something, ask Congruence. Congruence beams at you in holometer. Can you handle that? Can handle anything. That's the spirit, Congruence chirps. It's you and me, Celine. High five. You gently bump Congruence's panel with your open palm, as she laughs. There are no patients today, so you're going to brush up on your first aid training. Every colonist gets first aid training starting in their early teens. Lungs gotta breathe, heart's gotta beat, blood should stay inside the body. Check. You run through quiz scenarios with Congruence for a whole week. CPR, elevate and put pressure on wounds, wrap broken bones, flush eyes with water, leave foreign objects in, and be real careful with neck injuries. Fun fact, Congruence informs you. In the field, your holopalm can just charge its batteries all at once as a makeshift defibrillator. First aid is important, but the goal is just to get the person stable enough to bring them here, to a medbed. That's where you and Dr. Instance will take over. You'll be fine. It might only be a matter of life or death. No biggie. No. We're just gonna call it good. Got plenty of kudos. It's Vertimelia. In the midst of the colony decorating and setting out the food of the fest, you have trouble finding your festive spirits. Your dad's only been dead for a few weeks. How could anyone else celebrate at a time like this? You gather in the colony square for the usual speeches. Loom takes the stage to fanfare and applause. Hello, people of Vertumia, he exclaims over the din. Happy Vertumia. He raises his hand to call for silence. Before we celebrate, I want to recognize those we lost this year. Head of Geoponics, Geranium, and Cervelia and Buragulo. I don't recognize that name. The crowd goes silent for a moment. Your vision blurs with tears, and how's this supposed to make you feel better now that he's gone? This year has taught us that the aliens are more dangerous than we ever knew, Loom continues. It's not just the attacks during the glow, they're weaponizing the very air we breathe. But they won't win. Already we've discovered how to beat them at their own game. With everyone inoculated against the Shimmer, we're one step closer to total domination over this planet. After the council members each give their annual reports, everyone starts clearing the square and set up for the Rotilio games. You feel the pulse of the Halo message in your palm and open it up to read. Happy Vertumia, there's a present for you on the table. XOXO, your secret admirer. You rush over to the feast table and spot a wrapped present among your roasted vegetables. Wow, you have a secret admirer. You unwrap your present. It's a data band? You snap it on your wrist and boot up your Halopon. It's full of all your favorite songs, videos, shows, and games. It's a collection curated by someone who really know you. Now, you'll always have your media with you, even if the net goes down, including all your favorite episodes of Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon. Nice! Yeah, I'm having fun with Loom. He searches the Halopon for any hint as to who could have made it, but you can't find anything. You have to ask around, but later, the games are about to begin. So Secret Admirer is either Tangent, who would make the most sense, or Nomi Nomi, because they're the only two that would make sense to actually pack favorite shows in there, such a thing. You assemble with the other kids for the annual games. What do you choose this year? I could actually do the bake-off. But alas, hey, we must continue the tradition of making Tangent second place for every year of her life. We're not going to have any pop culture questions this year, right? Tangent sulks, her voice dripping with disdain. I just don't see the point. Why aren't we celebrating real intelligence? Luckily, Nami doesn't overhear this. Or if they do, they don't care. They're just happy to be here. Which is this one normally? I'll use a consumable. That will get it done. All those hours spent watching holovids really paid off. You nailed the pop culture questions and about half the science and humanities ones as well. Nami and Tangent are too specialized to beat you, you trivia star. After the festivities, everyone descends on the feast. You heap up your plate with more food than you think you can eat in 3 sittings. Everyone around you is happy, but you can't help but notice the empty space where your dad should be sitting. It's your first holiday as an orphan. The other colonists try to make room for you in their conversations, but it's not the same. Tangent is hard at work in the lab, entering calculations or holopon and following over samples. She barely notices you enter. Hello, Selene, she says distractedly before going back to her work. Someone gave you a data band. It might have been Tangent. You just make Seeker admire, leave her alone. This is pointless. I don't want her to know. Or want to know. Might as well ask her. If she isn't, she will forget about this in 10 minutes because it's not important to her database. Tangent continues to scrutinize her work, though the tips of her ears go pink. What? No, of course not, she says. I would never. The whole idea, I'm simply too busy to... That's okay, I won't tell. Tange nods, finally meeting your eye. Good, she says. I don't want to make a big deal about it. Going for the smooch or let the moment pass? Officially go after Tangent or not? Sure. Why not? We'll see how it goes. Nope. You lean in for a kiss, but Tangent takes a step back. After you get back to work, she says, leaves for the room. Denied. Rex and Nami are curled up together, his head on his lap as they watch something in Nami's holopon. Nami pauses the show and Rex grumbles sleepily. He must have almost drifted off. Hi, Nami says, screeching behind Rex's ears. Do you want to watch Turbo Girl Hyperdrive Transformers? We're almost ready to start the OVAs. Yeah, I kind of figured Tangent wasn't the type that would like physical affection. I figured most of Tangent's flirting stuff was a trap. I wanted to actually see how it would go. I figured it'd be a negative. Now I know. Don't think it hurt too bad. Still at a 90. Like, Tangent's entire flirting line has been something I've been staring at and just going, most of these things don't feel like something you should be doing while actually romancing Tangent. She doesn't care about her appearance. She's not excessively physical. She is very much a intellectual, mental connection type of person. So proper flirting with Tangent is just emotional and mental attachment with her for the most part. And all the flirting options are the more standard, complimenting her and trying to be touchy-feely, which is something that her character should not enjoy at all. So I'm kind of glad that We were denied by going in with the kiss. That's what she should have done. Injuries are common in geoponics, mostly all the manner of pulled muscles and stress injuries, not to mention the occasional animal bite. You treat the farmers and ranchers for their minor medical needs, patching them up and sending them out again to keep working. Get to work. You browse in the colony bulletin board on your holopalm of Rexus, and you notice a new post from Nami. It seems to be a short story. The title is Xenos to the Rescue. Ooh, boy. You open the story and read it through. Wow, it's actually pretty good. Nami did a great job of grounding the unrealistic premise and talking manticores with relatable characters and a strong emotional story. With your help on some of the finer details, Nami's written something that truly elevates the art form. You get the notification through your holopalm that you've received some kudos, along with a message for Nami. Thanks for the help, Selene. Here are your royalties. Let's see. Do I have a list of what they like? Medicinal roots. Tange barely looks up from work. Is there something you need, she asks. I'm attempting to manifest a flow state, which is a perfect plane of uninterrupted mental simulation. It's supposed to be quite effective for creatives and researchers. I have more medicinal roots. No. So I'll try an egg. Tange shrugs. You should probably just keep it. I don't even know what to do with that. When you insist she should keep it, she shrugs in. Sure, maybe I'll find a use for it. Nami is grooving along to music, only they can hear through their hear speak. They bump into you and gasp, gesturing to turn off their speak. Oh my gosh, I didn't see you there. Sorry. They dust you off unnecessary. Good as new, they chirp. What's going on, Selene? Rex looks around the colony, stretching idly behind his ear. When he sees you, he smiles so wide his tongue rolls out of his mouth. Hey, Selene, what you got going on now? I am curious. Does Rex like a log? It's like a stick, and he's a dog boy. Rex shoots his side smile. Nothing a dog likes more than a stick, right? I have a bunch of them, so... Playing medbay again. Anemone comes in with training injury, a gouge that runs from her knee to her ankle. She hobbles in with a big smile. This one's gonna be kick-ass, she crows as you help her get in the medbay. The medbays are miraculous technology, combined with genetic modifications to make your body. They can cure diseases and make your cells regenerate quickly, repairing even the most mangled limbs. If it's still attached to your body, the medbay can heal it. For Anemone, though, her genetic mutation means that instead of regenerating smooth new skin, she gets rough blue scales instead, much stronger than human skin. Anemone flicks the dials on the control panel and fiddles to the angle of the lamp overhead. Seriously, this thing is more comfortable than my bed. It's worth more than the whole ship too, Instant snaps, so don't break it. Anemone puts her hand with an awkward giggle. Connect to the medbay with your holopalm and see the interface and diagnostics there. It's a confusing mess of readouts and buttons. The user's manual is ridiculously obtuse. You ask Instance for help, but she just scoffs. I don't have time or the temperament to walk you through it. I learned how to use it myself, so you can just don't break it. Press the right buttons. It's really very intuitive. If you have half a brain for it, you figure out the machine with zero problems. The sun lamp turns on, the monitor says, please lie still for 2 hours. Anemone groans. It's gonna take forever, she complains. Stay with me for a while? End up staying the whole time, keeping Anemone company. New perk. Spa. Pay to remove cards in the quarters spa. That could be useful. New month, new hug. Yeah, Rex 6 means after you have spot a big hiking. Let's start off the gun a little. It's a good hug, and it makes you instantly more relaxed. Where are the quarters? This is geoponics. That's leaving. This is training. Is this quarters as well? This is engineering. This one quarters then? Visit the spa. This is a good use of kudos. Get rid of some of these really cheap cards that are mucking up the deck. It's probably good for now. And then why don't we check in on congruence? Everything goes smoothly this month. Not a lot of bots need repairs, so you're able to put your efforts towards improving capabilities of your little fleet. You activate a few bots from the Helio stockpile and load them with processes of concurrence. New little friends for all sorts of tasks. And it has something to say. You find Tange puzzling over a large holoscreen, making notes on her hollow eye and frowning over them. As you approach, she gestures to wipe the holoscreen clean and start again. Ugh, she sighs, taking a break to rub her temples. Okay, Tange, come on, think. You come up beside her and she startles. Oh, Selene, hello, she says. Little running simulations on genetic diversity over the next few generations. You're welcome to see. It'll affect all of us, most likely. Tange pulls up the next genogram simulation. A family tree encompassing all the people in the colony, their familial relationships and genetic conditions. She scrutinizes it with a frown. We have an unusually high amount of hereditary heart disease, no matter how you slice it, she mutters. Luck of the draw. We lost quite a bit more genetic diversity than the original genesis of the Virtumin Project anticipated, and that's not even counting those unwilling or unable to reproduce. She crosses her arms. It's possible to steer the ship out of it, so to speak. We'll take some purposeful breeding choices. At least for 5 to 6 generations. May I verify your data, or what the heck are you talking about? I mean, I understand what she's talking about, but may I verify your data? Also an odd choice. I guess it's not a flirt option, because the flirt option would be weird. But we'll just verify data. Tange gives you a curt smile and angles the hollow screen towards you. It sounds crude, she admits, but the colony will need to accept a certain level of oversight in this matter if we tend to survive, genetically speaking. Artificial insemination of material from Earth donors, even in love matches, for example. You stare at the genogram until your eyes cross and shake your head. Tange laughs. It's terrifyingly complex, isn't it? She says. I imagine this process happens all the time naturally. Why, any sweating beast can squirt a little child into the dirt. It's all just proteins and luck. The end result is this. She waves her hand over the massive charts. It's beautiful in a way. On a long enough timescale, we predict the genetic drift of the species. In the face of that, what do family bonds matter? Tange laughs bitterly. It's not as if sharing genes with someone guarantees you'll be a strong family unit. Does anyone really like their parents? I did. Not really. Sounds a little eugenicsy. And is definitely not going to care about that. So I'll just go with I did. Recent orphan liked their parents. Tell Tange that you miss both your parents. That you'd give anything to have them back. Tange looks away and purses her. Sorry, she mutters. Being an orphan sucks. I kind of had longer to deal with it. As for my own family, Tange continues, I feel no allegiance to any of them based on blood. I have no family at all. If I have no family at all, that would be acceptable. What about your brother? Ugh, Tange says. I'm ashamed we're even related. Literally all he does is go out on expeditions and talk to trees. Who even knows where he is right now? Don't you miss your mother? You mean the depressed drunk who died when I was a kid? Tange retorts. No, not at all. If it wasn't for Chief Steward Anne, I probably wouldn't even still be alive. Do you want kids someday? Tange looks thoughtfully at the genogram. Truthfully, I'm not entirely certain I can bear children. There must be limits to my gene-engineered body. I certainly didn't experience puberty to the extent that Mars and Tammy did, for example. Besides, Tange continues, children will only distract me from my work. The chief engineer never had children, after all. I think that's admirable. Tange's gaze flicks over to where Chief Engineer's instance is talking to one of the other lab assistants. In some ways, I'm the child she never had, and she's the mother I wished I did have. We became close when we started my gender affirmation process, she continues. It was so obvious then that we were kindred spirits. So I'd come in for checkups and observation. We talk about the science behind the process. Of course I showed an interest in it, and Instance fostered that in me. She supported me. Tange looks down at the ground. Unlike my own mother, who by that point had ceased to find joy in almost anything. What would I be without Instance, Tange says. The only thing I have in my life is what she gave me. Not just this body, but my passion, my hard work, my achievements. Without her, I'd have nothing. I owe her everything. You are more than what she made you to be. She sounds very important to you. Just be supportive. Tange smiles. She is, she replies, more than anyone. Now, if you excuse me, she says, turning back to the genotype report, I have our legacy to plan. Could continue working on the med bay, but since we know something still might be up with Concurrence and Glow is coming, I'm gonna keep watching on Concurrence a little bit. When he's not on expedition, Dis sometimes hangs out in the robotics lab with you. He's always felt a bit more of a kinship with the bots, you guess. No squishy feelings or compact social interactions. They just do what they're programmed to do. You've watched a strange friendship blossom between him and Nami Nami, like a crow and a hummingbird. They bond over their mutual love of both robotics and xenofauna. It's kind of cute that the two weird nerds from each ship found each other, despite their clear personality differences. Nami's working today and has asked Dis to test a new prototype for what they describe as the next generation of functional, fashionable exploration wearables. It looks like a robotic exoskeleton used by the construction crew, but dialed up to comic proportions with the cool missile launchers and jetpacks. I saw an anime, they say, strapping Dis into his suit. It's super going to work, okay? Take a few steps. Dis looks at you with a panicked expression. He takes a few faltering steps, immediately straining the balance servos. The whole rig squeals as he lifts off balance and tries to regain it, but he's caught in a positive feedback loop of balance recalibration that only makes it worse. Dis's mechanically augmented limbs swing around wildly, knocking over a rack of bots and sweeping tools to the floor. You and Nami scream and dive for cover. Not like this, Nami exclaims. Dis, turn it off! You turn it off, Dis yells back. I'm stuck in this thing. Nami pulls up the controls of the suit on their holopalm and activates the kill switch. Mid-rampage, Dis crumples to the ground in a heap of plasteel limbs. You extract him from the wreckage. Nami is distraught, but Dis just smiles and pats them on the shoulder. It's okay, Nami. This is why I never try very hard, especially when other people might see. You should try anyway. Trying is good. Learning new things is fun, and getting better at stuff is fun. You tell Nami that they'll learn more from their mistakes than from their successes. It has to be something I'm good at, though, Nami replies. Everyone else is super good at something. I can't wait to find my thing. You direct them to work on safer things, like cleaning up the lab. Dis and Nami work well together. You can't help but listen to their easy banter as they work. Nami could charm a smile out of a rock, but it's still surprising how well Dis responds to them. Like, even he doesn't quite understand their inexplicable pull Nami exerts from them. I've been thinking of changing my sleeping habits, Tange says. Well, if I only need to sleep 8 out of every, say, 36 of 48 hours, must they all be dirt at once? Imagine the efficiency of taking a 15-minute nap every 4 hours instead. But that's practically no time at all. Ah, I think that's the Einstein method. Let's see. Try a flower this time. Not because I think you'll find flowers pretty, but because there's something for you to study. Oh, it's your birthday? I did not remember that. It seems you remembered my birthday. How thoughtful of you, Tange says, accepting the flower with a dubious look. I'll set this flower aside to analyze later. I'm more interested in the properties of all Vertumia flora. Again, flirting with physical appearances. I just hope you find it useful. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself. Thank you, she adds, almost as an afterthought. Who needs breaks? The glow's about to happen, and no one died last year, so my guess is someone's gonna die this year. Well, Dad died during pollen season, but during the glow. Just got a story one, but do one more check on concurrence. There's a stack of repair requisitions flagged for Dis that he hasn't touched for days. All he wants to do is tinker with the bots and figure out how to make them play games or act in weird ways. It's cool, and it's probably teaching him a lot about bot development, but it's not getting work done now. You end up finishing your work quickly just so you can help cut down on some of his. Your own work suffers a little, but everything gets done. And the glow! Which I should plan ahead for the glow. Take off the pet bot for a little bit. And be brave. Make it easier for us to be stupid and run somewhere we shouldn't be. Like entirely different planet in the glow just says. Softly in the Illuminators. My favorite season full of secrets and danger. One last check on congruence. You work with congruence on tweaking her environmental monitoring process. Together you managed to get her efficiency up by 0.005%. Doesn't seem like much, but congruence assures you that even small changes add up over the course of centuries. You have small accentual free crop reserves. Congruence was active before you were born and will still be serving your great-great-great-grandchildren hundreds of years from now. You wake up to the soothing sound of your dad's voice, then remember he's still gone. You wonder how long it'll be before you stop expecting him to be there. You're lying in bed, staring at the wormhole through your window when you hear a deep thump resonate through the ground, and then a second one, quieter. The woven roof of your womb quivers, unleashing a season's worth of fine glowing dust to sift through the air. Through your open window, you hear voices sounding the alarm. The annual offensive is here, and leading the charge are two massive faceless. Hide inside, join the fray. Like usual, let's be stupid. Oh, these ones. You grab a plas rifle and report to the front, where the line of soldiers has taken up arms and is waiting for orders. The colony prepares to defend itself against the two building-scale phrases, as well as a teeming swarm of smaller Xenos that seethe towards you. Oh, joining is always stupid. We're not combat trained at all. We're the nerd that goes to class all the time. Hold steady, orders each rat. Keep the line. We're also at 100 stress, so if we can't do the card game well, we can't succeed. No, General Bloomround is running from the front line gates, front of the defensive line. He elbows right out of the way, waves his arm out. Bring them closer. Draw them in. Rhett stops himself from shoving them back, but just barely, you can tell. Are you serious, he roars? We can't let them any further into the colony. We're going to fight them in our territory, Loom cries, raising his plasma right to the side. We have the walls, let's use them. We'll let them come inside and pick them off one by one. We can't pick off a faceless, Rhett sputters from the sidelines. Loom smiles menacingly. You can see the gleam of his teeth from here. I have a plan, he roars. Just follow my lead. And with that, he turns and begins to run towards the approaching animals, roaring taunts and fire wildly into the fray to draw them close. At a loss, Rhett motions you all to fall back and let the animals approach. The area inside the gates becomes a swirling melee of smaller Xenos and plasfire, the two faces lowering slowly behind. Try to stay out of the way, hard, or get in there. Guessing get in there is probably worse. So we will just try to stay out of the way. Still not great. Let's start with that. This isn't going to end well. Even if I change those... Yep, we're just going to have to give up. We're going to be defeated. All the disorganization, you confused, you fire into the melee, screaming and retreating when some creatures get too close. You mostly just make things worse. Then an explosion goes off nearby. You freeze in shock when all you hear is a high-pitched whine. Out of all the terrorists both wait for the battlefield, Lum comes from... Here they come! Here they come! He shouts joyfully and plows through the gates with the two faceless goblin behind. He's without doubt idiotic and horrendously dangerous. You can't help it. You hit record on your holopalm and record the ensuing chaos. Catch a glimpse of Chief Rhett putting his hand over his face and sighing. A squad of Helio soldiers take out the charge and helps shepherd the Faceless into the open area in the middle of the colony. You have horrible flashbacks to the first time you saw Faceless inside the walls. From the looks of the Faceless on the other Stratos, you're not the only one. Then you're all thrown to the ground by a tremendous explosion. Fire engulfs the center square, roasting the two Faceless in an inferno that blasts the sweat from your pores. Rocks and chunks of dirt platter all around you with the occasional thunk of burning mushwood. The soldiers nearest the blaze all recoil in surprise. Clearly no one but Loom knew that the square had been rigged with explosives. You don't think anyone was caught in the blast, but it was close. Loom stands before the blaze, laughing and firing at the two tortured faces as they roast to death. You raise your holopalm and capture the image, his silhouette dark against the column of the flame and smoke. It was ridiculously dangerous and stupid, but it does look pretty cool in your recorded footage. People filter out of their hiding places, shielding their faces from the heat coming off the bonfire in the middle of the square. On the horizon, the first watery rays of quiet sunrise are struggling to make a dent in the hot orange glare. The colony's fire suppression system is turned on the square, revealing the charred corpses of the two Faceless. Utopia walks by with a reclamation team hauling an industrial glass cutter and a hover lift. Did he use the mining explosives? Utopia said in awe. Mighty bold of him. Those things will blow a hole in a mountain. Or a creature, I suppose. She sighs. Wish he could have saved him from mining. That must have been the last of them. We sure can't make more. Then she and her crew are out of earshot as they pick their way down and blast crater car of the Faceless recycling. Fortunately, colony defense is a stat? Where is that stat? Fortunately, the colony was well defended. You and the other colonists have been fortifying the defenses, putting security above all else. Tonight's defense was still a resounding, if messy, success. But if Utopia is right, you don't have any more of those explosives now. You can't just nanoprint unstable molecules like that. What are you going to do during the next attack? Assuming we are introducing this stat now to have to be something that we monitor. We are going into year 17. This game goes to year 20. You spot Tange heading behind the engineering wing follow and only find she's disappeared. You look up to see access ladder leading to maintenance platform by the engine turbines, long, silent, starting to rust. She's grown out her hair a little bit. You climb up to the platform, Tange there lying on the back, staring at the sky. Catch beside her leads back into engineering. That must be how she knows about this place. She doesn't acknowledge you until you're almost standing over her. Your shadow fighting over the overcast light. She blinks with the sluggishness of someone who's only just remembers necessity, and licks her lip before she speaks. Do you need me? Do they need me in there? You shake her head, and Tange does a sigh of relief. Exactly. Though her lies slip close again. Good, she murmurs. It's all too much right now, I thought. Her mouth twitches. I don't know what I thought. I don't know what I'm doing up there. Are you okay? Tange huffs his small laugh and folds her hands over her stomach. You know, I think I may be burned out, or depressed. In Earth movies, depressed teenagers would sneak out on the rooftops. I confess, I don't think I see the appeal. Maybe it'd be better if I had alcohol or cigarettes? She shakes her head. Blanking out your mind with substances is what my mom used to do, not me. Screw the flirting. Let's just see if she wants to talk. Tange smiles, self-advocating, and doesn't look at you. I don't think so, she says. Maybe, will you sit with me? You lie down beside Tange and watch the gentle revolution of the sky a few minutes. You can feel the caginess seep out of Tange as you lie there in silence, until she finally speaks. Do you ever think about humanity, she asks slowly. Humans are such glorious, beautiful, elf, self-destructive thing, she continues. They only ever create by destroying, and in turn they hasten their own demise. Tange finally looks at you, her hollow eye lighting up her cheekbones. She looks gaunt. It was the belief in human supremacy and unchecked innovation that doomed humankind on Earth, she says. Does it seem we're going down the same path here on Vertuma? I believe we can do better here. -1 helped Tangent. Tange takes a deep breath and lets it all out. I think so too, I just don't know how. I don't know if any of us can do. We're only human. Sometimes I wonder, she continues then pauses, sometimes I wonder how we sent humans to explore space. Given our trek record, you would think perhaps an artificial intelligence would have been wiser. No ego to get in the way, no questions about ethics or morality. After all, we learned in Earth history that when human colonists traveled from Europe to the Americas, they nearly killed everyone who already lived there because they spread disease. Tange looks at her hands. I just can't help but wonder if we're doing the right thing. The hatch to the laboratory clangs open and Tange jumps. There you are, Instance says, just as her hand and shoulders are visible through the hatch. Have you finished recalibrating that strand sequencer yet? Tange scrambles to her feet and brushes off the seat of her pants. No, not yet, she says. I was waiting on the results from BH4316, and... Instance clicks her tongue against her teeth and raises her hand to Tange. They're ready, she says. I need that sequencer ready for the G4100 samples. Her eyes flick to you. If you're done, she adds icily. Yes, ma'am, Tange says, cowed, and slides in the hatch after Instance. As her head disappears past the roof line, you catch a fleeting hint of an expression on her face you can't name. Tange is sitting before an array of holoscreens, all showing different glyphs, or graphs. Making decisions based on mistakes of humans we purposely left behind on Earth is foolishness, she says, between bites of her protein bar. We may as well ask the stars for guidance like astrologers. No, I will not be taking questions at this time. Tammy looks conflicted today. She anxiously twists her hands in her shawl and speaks. I think if I have a baby, I want it to be from Vertuma. Do you know what I mean? I've just been thinking about it, and I can't imagine as strangers, she says and ducks her head and smiles weakly out the window towards the geochronic gems. Not when there are people I love here. I want to do something nice for Mars, Tammy says, fiddling with her head and dress. But I don't know what. She just nanoprints whatever she needs. She snaps her finger. I know, why don't we ask Uceden to help put on a spa day for her? And Anne has a whole cabinet of nice-smelling lotions, soaps, and scented candles. She lets you choose for a few of each and reserves one of the private lounge anterooms for you. Sure, Mars can buy her own lotions, but what she can't buy is the loving servitude of her friends. You help Tammy and pamper Mars. She's surprised and a little humbled by the attention and gives you both general hug and thanks. Tammy has good instincts. She always knows what people secretly need, and Mars needed to have something nice given to her instead of having to demand it. Hello, Selene. Tammy bounds over to you. I have a present for you. She presents you with a gift. It's wrapped in homemade wrapping paper, scribbled with hearts and flowers. Open it, she says, bouncing on her toes. You open the gift and pull out a handmade doll. Its lumpy, misshapen face gazes up at you from a patchy nest of yarn hair. It's a doll. Her name is Dolly, Tammy says proudly. I'm making it for all the kids I babysit. You told me once that your favorite toys are dolls, and I thought you might like one. Give it a hug when you're feeling scared. Except, you thank Tammy for her gift, and she clasps it in her hand in front of her heart. I'm glad you like it, Selene. I worked really hard on it. Over the years, a lot of people have started wearing a lot less clothing than you remember from when you were growing up on the climate-controlled stratosphere. Definitely a lot less than the holovid you brought from Earth. Rex, though? Rex has really acclimated the return of his hot, sultry weather. Dude, put on a shirt, take off your own shirt, or, awoo! Think we will just continue to flirt with Rex. Rex reacts well to that. Rex throws his head back and laughs so loud it echoes through the courtyard. Oh, he laughs. Ah, ooh. You both giggle and lock eyes for a few seconds that feel like literal months. Eventually, Rex fixes you with a fangy smile and scratches the back of his head. It does a nice thing to his whole chest, shoulder, bicep situation. So you like what you see, huh? He leans in, like sharing a secret. Me too, he whispers, and then winks at you. Rex reaches above his head and stretches, showing off his lean body and its remarkable lack of clothing. He yawns and smacks his lips. Hey, Selene, he says, scratching his stomach lazily. You doing anything fun? Getting my monthly hug? Rex folds you into his arm, bending his whole body to you. He smells warm and a little spicy, like queen sunshine. A good hug, the kind that makes you feel instantly more relaxed. Should believe Rex is getting up there a bit, at least. Yeah, we're at 2. Nami is in their usual spot in the lounge, surrounded by their steadily growing collection of body pillows and stuffed animals. They're curled up with their arms around a giant plushy creature and seem to be scrolling listlessly through the movies available in the Colony Media Archive. Find anything good? No! Nami sighs, tipping over their side. Now, since I finished all of Maid Stalker Ares, I can't believe it ended on a cliffhanger. I didn't know that Stratosphere had left Earth before the series finished airing, Nami writes. I have every episode except for the 2-parter season finale. They bury their face against the plushie. We'll never know how it ends. It's not fair that we'll never have any new shows to watch. Making up a new ending does sound fun. How about we explore this isn't about this show? Nami wipes their eyes with a big, heavy sigh. Yeah, they say, not meeting your eye. I guess that's trying to. It just reminds me that, they pick at a thread on their plushie. You know, that, everything ends, and sometimes it's a lot sooner than you expect. When I got here, I remember looking at your huge media library and thinking, wow, Galactic, I'm never going to run out of things to watch. It felt like the whole world was still ahead of me, ready to be discovered. A new planet, new people, new life. Nami digs their fingers into their plushie. Now it feels like everything's just on fire all the time, and everyone's always on my case about how I need to grow up. What's so bad about being innocent? Why does everything have to be so grim all the time? They wipe their eyes again angrily. I don't get any more episodes of this stupid show I like. It's not fair. He's sympathetic. I get that. It's hard. Nami nods, their chin wobbling as they try to keep together. Yeah, they say, tipping their head up on the ceiling and trying to put on a brave smile. Thanks for getting it, Selene. Nami and Rex are talking together on the couch, legs intertwined. Rex spots you first and gives you a jaunty wave, and Nami follows his smile with a big smile. Hey, Selene, Nami says, scooting over easily so there's space for you on the couch. Rex pats the cushion invitingly. We're just talking about what we'd rather have as a pet. A hopai as big as an Unosaur, or an Unosaur as small as a hopai? What do you think? I don't really care for aliens, Mars says, examining her nails. Why would I? Humans are far more interesting. And if aliens are so cool, why do they have cities already? Or don't they have cities already? She tells her, checkmate, aliens. Cal is holding an ice pack to his face. Hey, Selene, he greets you, giving you a half-hearted wave. Don't worry, he says, indicating the swelling scrape across his face. Kinda weird how me and Rex get so clumsy around the Helio kids. He gives you a significant look. So Cal's finally bulking up after all the work on the farm. Unless you're here because you realize Rex is a shit-for-brains coward who'd rather dick around and defend his own home, get out of my sight, Base growls. I don't have time for weak-willed dead-rates like him, and right now that includes you. Yeah, I don't really want to spend time with you either. You spot Anemone playing darts with a bunch of other soldiers. She throws a dart and it lands clear in the middle of the faceless, well, that isn't the right word, but the soldiers all cheer and clap on her in the back. She breaks away from the group and slings an arm over your shoulder. Did you see that, Selene? Oh yeah, I need to go rest. After the first attack on the colony, they added lookout towers on the walls. You have a place to hang out if you don't really feel like working, and because it's all the way up here, no adults are going to come ask you to run any errands for them. On rainy days, you take shelter under the pavilions and listen to the pitter-patter of warm raindrops on the grass roof. You do whatever you want. Ah, this is life. This is a pretty good place to study. You pack your halocures. The wall is a great vantage point to examine the wild jungle outside the colony. Your independent study even counts towards class credits without having to actually be in class. Oh, hey, Selene. Just pops his head in a nearby ladder and looks surprised to see anyone else here. Do you mind if I sit here, too? Hadn't seen your new model yet. Didn't spot you out there yet. Sure, there's plenty of room. You two dango feet off the side and watch the valley below. This shuffles a little uncomfortably and didn't say much. I wonder if this was his private spot to be alone before you discovered it. It's your 17th birthday, but it's not just your birthday, quite as a time of new growth and celebration life of hope. Not just for this year, but for humanity's presence and Vertumor for years to come. Your friends are the symbol of that hope. Quite literally, you're the future of humanity. As you're all beginning to take your place as adults in the colony, the council has decided to throw your party in your honor, the Vertuman Youth Ball. Mars is organizing it, of course. You get an embraced invitation on real paper slipped under your door. I guess I could go. Party, party, party all night long. Nope, dancing is for dweebs. Can totally go to the party. Why did you start? Granted, that should not have come through my stream, but still. You slip into some party clothes and head over to your lounge to celebrate. Well, yourselves and yourself specifically, it is your birthday after all. The lounge is all decked out, the decorations look expensive. Must have taken a lot of nano-pervert creds. Your friends are transformed too. Everyone has dressed up, and looking like the young adults becoming. You can hardly recognize some of them. Mars catches your eye and waves, her bangles jingling joyfully. She looks like a model from her holomags, every inch of her primped and painted and perfumed. Selene, happy birthday. I'm glad you can make it, she says over the steady thrum of the music. Drinks are over there, make your song request to concurrence, and take off your shoes. You look down at your boots, then back up at Mars skeptically. She rolls her eyes and does a little bounce. Sock hop, just like on Earth, duh. At the refreshment table, Cal is stuffing his face with party food, and Rex shoves 2 glasses of punch in your hands. Gotta stay hydrated, he says, pouring himself into the glass. We'll be sweating it out one way or another, he winks at you. Don't let them fool them, Tangent mutters, joining you, smears a glob of something pink and meaty on the cracker. It's a well-documented phenomenon that people have experienced with inhibiting alcohol being acts that they're drunk, even if they're completely sober. She actually adds, I mean, of course, then I'm not going to suffer any bad behavior. Rex grins as he pulls out a flask from her vest and pours a healthy addiction in his glass. Who says it's going to be an act? Let's get a little loose. Come on. It's a party. Music changes to something with a fast, pounding beat. Rex throws his head back and howls. Whew, it's time to dance. Why don't we dance? You, Rex, and Mars take to the dance floor. After a while, Anna falls, pulling bass behind her. You all dance until it feels like your heart's going to burst from excitement, from excursion, and from the sheer joy of throwing yourself around with your friends. Nomi, who's playing DJ with Concurrent, spins up something a lot slower, more romantic. Grab a partner and pull them in close, they announce dreamily, or whatever distance you both feel comfortable with. Everyone giggles awkwardly and shuffles around, feeling intangible friction of teenage politics. Who dances with whom? Who makes the first move? Tangent will probably hate this, but why not? Tangent is already shaking her head as you approach her for a dance. Absolutely not, she says. I'm not going anywhere near that sweaty mess. Well, she didn't say she wouldn't dance. She resists you, tugging her into a slow dancing position, but relaxes when she realizes you don't intend to take her away from the safety of the refreshment table. She dances with you a little mechanically, her nose turning more pink as the song goes on, and drops her arms immediately when it's done. You follow her gaze to the dance floor where Anna and Vase seem to skip dancing, gone straight to sucking face. Tangent's lip curls. Thank you for not expecting me to do that. After the slow songs, Nami spins Concurrence's music library to something a little more bouncy. Dance floor once more floods with bodies that gave night way. But the tunes are abruptly interrupted by Governor Looms here speak, hijacking the feed. He strides to the stage, flanked by Security Chief Rhett. Everyone on the dance floor whines and uses for having these buzzkill adults stop the music. But Loom just raises his hands and smiles indulgently. Look at all of you, he says. Young pioneers, I look at you and see the future. Not just of this colony, but all of humanity. You catch a few people rolling their eyes. You've heard this before. Rhett here, good man, a real good man, really, the best of the colony, shared this poem from a great Earth poet. Lum continues, now I'm not one for poetry myself, but damn if it's not something I want to share with you kids. Tonight, on the eve of something really big. He clears his throat and reads from his hollow bomb. We cannot tarry here, we must bear the brunt of danger. We, the youthful Siri races, all the rest of us depend. Down on the edges through the passes, up the mountains steep, conquering, holding, daring, venturing as we go the unknown ways. Pioneers, oh pioneers. We primeval foresters felling, we the rivers stemming, vexing we, and the piercings of the deep mines within. We the surface broad surveying, and the virgin soil upheaving. Pioneers, oh pioneers. Applaud politely, silently mouth the word boring, grumble and hiss, this is bullshit. Let's just mouth the word bowling. Brett looks a little pained, but Lum continues. What do you think that poem means, kids? Does it mean we should sit here in our colony, politely waiting for this planet to make space for us? He clenches his fist evocatively there. No! It means we need to get out there. We need to grab Vaturma by the balls and make it respect us. He points to you specifically. I need you, the next generation, to lead the charge. This is your planet, and you're old enough now to defend it. I'm asking all eligible fighters to join squads massing at expeditions, to get out there and attack those monsters where they live. We're taking the fight to them. No more hiding behind the walls. To your left, Vase and Anemone leading the cheering that erupts. Lum and Rhett leave the music, spins back up again. But only a few diehard party girls still want to dance. Everyone else is broken into small groups to discuss the announcement. You are excited, cautiously optimistic, scared, angry. Gotta go with trying not to think about it. Nami puts on a song with a group of dance everyone knows, and Rex tries unsuccessfully to get the party moving again. People are too stunned to really feel the vibe. Eventually, Rex sighs and slings his arm over Nami's shoulders, gesturing you in close. What a buzzkill, he grumbles, and Nami adds, you know what growing up on the Helio was like? You'd start to feel happy for a minute, and some uniform would come in and ruin it. How'd it be different here? Nami sighs. Instead, we made you more like us. This sucks. Party fizzles out as everyone drifts away from the lounge. You return to your empty quarters, your birthday forgotten. You've always been told the colony was safe. Now, you know that time is over. Just gonna zoom right through this, get our cake, share, make her happy. You always feel accomplished when you manage to pull a bot back from the brink of being broken forever. For all your life, you were told these bots would eventually break beyond repair. Having a fully functioning robotics lab and not just a cranky engineer keeping things together with tape and good vibes means that you can do more to keep them running. You can improve upon them. I don't see this out and about. Maybe next month. The bot shows up for repair with a note tucked into his chassis. You open it up and find one of Nami's drawing. They must have stuck it up into one when they knew it was coming for repairs, so you'd be sure to see it. Tack it up the wall next to all of Nami's other work. So I don't know if we're hitting any other story here, so we'll probably switch to Medbay again for a bit. Tangent has something to say. You bump into Tangent after a routine checkup in Medbay. Sling, could you wait a moment? I'm almost done. Let's walk out together. Dr. Instance gives you a curious look as Tange hurries and catches up to you, but goes back to her work. You wonder if Tange needs something for you or just wants to hang out. Lately seems like she has less time for her friends, preferring to work late at the lab. Maybe she's lonely. Ah, nice weather we're having, Tange says as you walk outside. You look around. It seems pretty normal for the season. Yeah, Medbay. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing well enough. She clears her throat. I'm so different here than it was in space, she says. Growing up in the spaceship was so clean and tidy. Here I'm constantly sweeping pollen or dust or spores or what have you off everything. There's a mushroom growing in the corner of the bathroom the other day. Yeah, it's gross here. Right, Tan says, her eyes wide. Everything is just growing all the time, everywhere with no plan. I hate even thinking about it. You walk for a few more minutes. Tange clearly has something on her mind, so you let her sit with it until she finally steels herself. I'm not very good at this sort of thing, she says slowly. Ah, so you know, I've been working on a big project with Chief Engineer. What big project? It's why I haven't been around so much lately, she says. I'm sorry, I can't tell you anymore. It's been going very well. I think we'll finally over the last hurdle now. Governor Loom says it's going to change everything here in the colony for the better. Tange seems more at ease than you've seen her in years. Truly, I couldn't have done it without you, Tange says, a slight smile warming her usually expressionless face. I know I can be a hard person to be around, but I appreciate everything you've done for me, and ultimately for the colony, and all of humanity. What's really going on with you? Happy to help a friend. Time to make your move. It is not time to make a move. What's really going on with you? Tange shrugs. It's nothing, she says. I think it's time to... I think it's nice to take a moment and recognize when someone has helped you. I'm trying to do it more. The last decade has taught me anything, it's that you don't want to wait until it's too late. She smiles cryptically. Okay, maybe it is time to make your move. We had 100 with her? Not quite, but 99. Sure, we'll try making a move. You and Tangent find yourselves alone on the path of engineering with quarters waiting. You edge closer to Tangent as you walk. She doesn't seem to notice and moves away, maintaining the distance between you. Look really hot today. Tangent, I have feelings for you. We're a really good team, let's make it official. Need friendship 80 or higher. We got that. You propose a former anonymous partnership between you. The way one might propose a scientific thesis. It would mutually beneficial advantage to each other, and Tangent stops her in her tracks. I don't know what to say, she says slowly. She gives you a considering look. You're not the first person to suggest a partnership, but I must admit, you're the first who piques my interest in return. You know what? Yes, she decides. You're entirely right. I like you, you like me. There's nothing stopping us from pursuing a relationship. Started dating Tangent. How should we begin? We're going to be very scientific with this. Tangent smiles. A real one, showing her teeth. Oh, Selene. If you like me, surely you expect nothing less than a completely rational response that takes into account both of our feelings and our situation. Yes, nothing less. Tangent slips her hand into yours and steps close. Will you kiss me now, or shall I kiss you? You lean in and press your mouths together. Tangent's lips are a little dry, and she smiles when you kind of stick together. Almost acceptable, she teases, licking her lips. She brings her hand to your face and guides you together again for a kiss that's much better than the first. Tangent's a better kiss than you expected, confident, unashamed, and methodical. You kiss until she tires of it, pulling away and touching your lips with a slight smile. I'm looking forward to continuing this train of thought, she says. I expected the kissing scene to take longer. As in, like, 3 dates. Not last longer to read out. Break up at any point, huh? What does have any time to spare do? Tangent hums and checks time on the hub bump. I suppose, she says, arcly and smiles. If you provide me with significant motivation, you hang out in the lab. Tangent cleans out her workstation and prepares to leave off with you, but just as you take her arm, the alarm goes off. Tangent curses and scrambles over to experiment and turns off the alarm. I seem to have forgotten that this experiment requires a great deal of babysitting, she says. My apologies, but might we stay in the laboratory? There's nothing to be done about it when you're dating a brainiac like Tangent, so you pull up a chair and settle in to keep her company. It's still nice to spend time with her. Was that completely thing? Yeah. Medbay! You're on break from your work in engineering, catching up with College Associated when Tangent sits down beside you and clears her throat. The frown line between her eyebrows is a permanent feature these days. Today it's out in force. I need to talk through a problem I'm having, she says without preamble. Science problem? Tangent nods. Yes, exactly. Usually I talk through a blockage with Concurrence, she continues, but Concurrence's database is being recompiled this week, and she's only functioning at 10% capacity, read-only. At that point, a literal human is better at logic. The only person I can think of I could trust with this type of thing. Sure, we'll help. Tangent launches an exploration of the problem she's having. Luckily, she doesn't require much from you except a friendly ear. You chime in with the hope or helpful questions, leading her down a different thought experiments that cause her to rethink the original problem, each which she takes the time to explain with more passion than you thought Tangent was capable of. For what you can gather, it has to do with conclusion bodies and cryptocurrency edge states, encrypted proteins, and electron rectification particles. It's uber technical stuff. So you're working with viruses? Yes, precisely, Tangent says. Please, you're keeping up. So as I was saying, the more you hear it, the more you're sure of it. Chief Engineer Institute's Change Secret Project, the thing they've been working on behind closed doors for years, is an engineered disease. A designer virus targeting only native human creatures. That's the only reason Tangent could be asking these kind of questions. Bioweapons can't go wrong at all. You asked to see her notes on the subject, and she pulls them up on her holopalm to show you. Yes, you're sure of it. If what they're working on is successful, it'll affect almost all fauna on Vertuma, from tiny hop eyes to the terrible faceless. Your surreptitiously record a copy of her notes on your holopalm. Sounds really dangerous. This is groundbreaking stuff. Both of those statements are absolutely true. Especially since we eat some of these creatures, I believe. Let's just be honest and say it sounds dangerous. What? Tan says, forcing a laugh. It's just homework for my virology class. It's all hypothetical. She stands up from the table. Well, I should get back to work. I mean, school. Thank you for your help. Tan retreats from the break room, leaving you alone with your discovery. You could try talking to her again, or take what you've learned to the governor directly. Didn't even realize they moved to pollen. Tan seems especially troubled today, so you invite her on a long walk around the inner wall. That's Tan's thing. Thinking walks. She touched that, you know her that well. She talks in fitful bursts, then laughs in song sizes. Finally, she stops and puts her hand on the wall, like she's been bracing herself. Selene, something's been bothering me, she says, clutching her other hand at her side. She collects her words with great difficulty. Is it morally defensible to do something that people want to approve of if you're doing it for their best interests? What if you don't have a choice? I know about the engineered plague. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, it is. Let's just be out and open. Tan smiles, though it doesn't reach her eyes. It was only a matter of time, I suppose, she says quietly. Sometimes it seems like you know everything that goes on in the colony. Thank you again for your help, she continues. You really were instrumental in overcoming several hurdles, whether you knew it or not. Lum is just using you in instance. You're committing genocide, Tanj. I support you. As your friend, please don't. This is a terrible idea. I think it's best if we please don't it, because, like, even if we weren't thinking about killing a species and we haven't explored a lot of this planet to figure out if there's intelligent life out of there, just general gut instinct is, if Lum thinks it's a good idea, it's probably a bad idea. As my friend, a real friend would understand why I have to do this. I have to protect the Dr. Instance, I have to protect the colony. She pushes herself off the wall and starts walking away from you. A few places away, she stops her shoulders up. I don't want to do this, Selene, she says miserably. If I don't help Instance, though, Lum is going to kill her. The colony needs her. I need her. I don't know what I'm going to do without her. I don't know. Maybe we convince him to stop? Tan scrubs her hands against her eyes and turns to you. She looks so impossibly tired. And for the moment, as young as she really is, Lum is forcing us to work on the virus, she says. I don't know what to do. Find a way to convince him. Visit command to put a stop to Chief Engineer's genocidal plan. Tanj will back you up. Command is upstairs. Probably don't need brain power for this, so why don't we boost bravery? See if that helps at all. Tangent goes with you to confront Governor Loom. She looks scared. Loom is alone on the bridge. This is a chance to try to convince him to change course on his genocidal virus. Loom looks up from his hollow palm. What is it? He snaps. I'm busy. Tangent raises her chin and takes a deep breath, shutting her nerves beside you. You hope she's still willing to go through with this. You tell Governor Loom that you know everything about the bioengineered plague he intends to unleash upon the planet, how he press Instance and Tangent to creating it under threat of death, and you know how it will kill every living thing on Vertuma. Loom listens intently, his face growing colder as you speak. When you're done, he gives you a certain look. You don't understand what you're talking about, Selene, he says. I'm the governor here. I make the decisions, not you. I will tell everyone. I have evidence I will tell everyone. I will not put Tange on the spot. You show them what we found in Instant's lab, all of her notes and recordings, even her personal logs about concerns about how they haven't managed to find a way to neutralize the dangerous fauna without causing a complete ecological collapse. Loom's face goes red, but he's unconsciously sober. I don't know how you got this, but this is damning. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I just killed Instance, didn't I? You stare at Loom, that's it. He gives you an exasperated look. That means you can go. Leave before I change my mind and throw you in the brig on espionage charges. Oh, maybe not. Got an achievement. Stop the engineered plague. You have averted what could only be the complete destruction of her terminate ecosystem and saved Instance's life. You can breathe a little easier today. Woot! Stop something horrible for once! I got a feeling that route's not very pretty. Even with the medbeds, the colony keeps a few medicines in stock. Mild painkillers and anti-inflammatories, vaccines, prophylactics, and vitamin diseases, various drugs for anxiety and depression, anything that doesn't warrant tying up a medbed. It's also a collection of paste, powders, tinctures, and from native species. Dr. Instance is showing you how to inventory and restock the medicine cabinet. She picks up a jar of tincture and regards it with distaste. This is barbarism, she complains before handing it to stock. When the machines finally break and leave us with this, the colony will be in real trouble. Medicine used to be an art, not a science, she continues, her emphasis on the word art, indicating her poor opinion of it. Ointments and oils peddled by salesmen to people too ignorant and desperate to know better. Cutting people open with unwashed hands, drilling holes in their heads. Yes, and nobody needed their lifetimes on hands, experience, or applied wisdom, Concurrence chimes in from a nearby monitor of Westby's sarcasm. Training in vert space and relying on medbeds much more civilized. It's just scowls with the weight of 20 years of resentment. I wasn't trained as a medical doctor, she retorts. Of course you were, Concurrence coots patronizingly. I trained you myself. Instant throws her hands in the air and turns to you. I already had 2 advanced degrees when we left Earth, she grins. I'm a published academic. If they wanted someone who could fix humans, they should have brought one along. A physician, not a trained one after the fact. She scowls and starts restocking the medicine herself, shoving things where they fit. A biologist, a researcher, my defining quality is I get things done. Don't expect me to smile about it. Yeah, sure, who needs bedside manner as well, as long as you get it done. What matters is saving people's life and curing their ills. Efficiently and effectively. No one wants to spend time in the medbay if they have to. Instant agrees. Did I get my hug this month? Did not. There you finally are. I'm not afraid to die, just says, eyes on his course. Just be one more adventure. Fine, I'll do this finally. Dear Disc to explore the creepiest, darkest parts of engineering deep down wherever Chief Engineer's instance never goes. Out of the recycling room where they say there are ghosts. Set the mood and sneak around behind you, put the Calipon flashlight on your face and shout, boo! He rolls eyes. Just let him think about it. If there are any ghosts on the spaceship, one of them would be my mom. Oh yeah, I guess I was scared of the normal person, but Disc isn't scared of anything. Yeah. I should put my robot parent back on. Tange is pouring something from Carefree that could only be strong by from the other side. It's bracing at first, Tange concedes, but now I've endured it long enough that it's beginning to feel pleasant, almost calming. She regards that Carefree with something that like fondness. As I require a little sleep, I doubt I'll become dependent on it. Addiction runs in my family, you know, though this, is indulgence I can allow myself. Nope, not persuasive at all. Not persuasive, not good at combat. Just good at all the engineering stuff. This month, you treat mostly cuts and scrapes and give out medicine for pain and anxiety. It's easy, boring month, but that's the best kind. No one likes it when medicated is busy. Early dust. Get my monthly hug. Hey, is it just me or is, like, everyone just light speed hot? Seriously, is something in the water? Because, ooh, dang. Rick lets out a little howl in the slash clapping of that. Present company included. Assume since it's a new season, you can go on. Feel an increase in dopamine whenever I see you, Tange says, slipping her hand into yours. I suppose it would give you the bonding hormone oxytocin. Do you know there are 4 major hormones that play a role in what we register as happiness? She smiles at you, then seems to remember herself. What I mean is, in this current moment, I am happy with you. Check up on our robot overlord. You are sent on location to update the firmware of the nanopreppers and Dito. Nope, we've done this one before. How important they are running colony. Quite simple for robotics perspective. They don't really have intelligence of your own, not like encourages water and gardening does. Still, the update in some routine diagnostic, clean out their filament nozzles, and declare them ready for service. This year's Virtumia is ushered in with a big military band, horns and drums, supplemented by recordings of parade music from Earth. Governor Loom strides out of command on the grand red carpet and ascends to the stage of ranchers' applause. Thank you, everyone, he calls out over the din. Look at you, look at this colony, finally truly united. All it took was a common enemy, he declares. I look at you, beautiful people, you strong people, you good human people, and I see a fire in your eyes. I see courage in your hearts. I see a colony that's ready to win. I see a colony that's here to stay. Virtuma, do you hear me? He raises his arm and roars. Do you hear me, Virtuma? We humans aren't going to hide anymore. Loom gestures for Security Chief Rhett to join him on stage, then continues. The original fugitive colonists got it wrong. In Roman mythology, Virtumius was a god of cultivation, not a rampant chaotic growth. He clenches his hand in a fist. We need to clear the field before we can plow it. Virtuma won't be safe for human life until the aliens are eradicated. Rhett crosses his arms and nods in agreement. Maybe there's more to his plan than Loom's letting on. Loom descends from the stage and does a receiving line of handshakes and fist bumps. In the vacuum left by his presence, Chief and Mr. Seek takes the podium and clears their throat. I want to announce that this will be the last year that the festival contest will be held. What? A sound of protest rises from the crowd, and near the front, Loom just shrugs theatrically and mouths, not my fault. Seek looks down at him pointedly, then continues. This war will use our colony resources at a tremendous rate, including most valuable, time. Hey, I've got some good news, Loom adds, jumping back on stage. This one's really gonna knock your socks off. The colony's had its first pregnancy. The crowd murmurs in excitement, and Loom beckons Tammy join you. Everyone give a round of applause for Aspartame here, for Tuma's first mother. Tammy is all beet red, wage chips over ears, but she does a little twirl so Loam can show her off. Look at her! She's so vibrant, so healthy, just like our young colony. We're so proud of you, Tammy. Your child is going to join the ranks of the greatest species the universe has ever seen. Lum pumps his fist in the air. Humans! 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 Let me hear you, Vertuma! Wait, Tammy's pregnant? Yeah, skip that one. Tammy descends from the stage into a gaggle of surprised and excited friends. OMG, is it really true? Mars asks immediately, taking Tammy by the hands. Yes, Tammy exclaims, like the secret bursting out of her. I'm finally going to be a mommy, just like Aunt Anne. You take a good look at Tammy. You haven't seen a pregnant person in years. Not since you landed, at least. Are they supposed to glow? Tammy looks radiant with pride and excitement. Looking more closely, you realize that her dress is starting to curve out around the belly. Every baby born to the colony, even you and your friends, is a complex arrangement of inherited, donated, and altered genes, and sometimes not even related to their parents. If the council let Tammy have a baby, does that mean there's going to be more soon? Cal runs over from where he's standing with his family and swoops Tammy in a big hug. I'm so proud of you, he exclaims, then rests his hand gently on everybody. Sorry, too much spin? You okay, little Hopeye? They look at each other adoringly. As you stand around and marvel at Tammy's news, the adults start to pour away at the chairs and setting up for the games and contests. Mars puts her hands on her hips. So, what does everyone think about this? War on nature. I think it's stupid, Cal says immediately. I know survival is important, but we don't have to kill things to survive here. Mars rolls her eyes. Duh, of course you'd think that. Personally, I think Lum is a total nullhead. He's not that much older than me. What is he, like 24 and everyone listens to him? She flips her hair over her shoulders. They should listen to me instead. Finally, you're called to participate in the games. The last ones, maybe forever. This war on nature ever ends, you'll probably be an adult. As your friends all separate into their usual games, you realize this may be the last time. You just get to be kids. What do you choose? To make Tangent sad one last time. Tangent is out for blood this year. She snaps at anyone who tries to talk to her before the trivia begins, and complains that she's been cramming so hard on pop culture that she feels like her brain's about to explode. Meanwhile, Nami just bobs along to the music in their here speak as they wait, totally unbothered. And she's cramming clearly paid off for her. She's strong competition until the category about old earth slang, where you clearly pull ahead. You snatch victory from her clutches, and she grudgingly accepts your superiority in all things trivia. After the festivities, everyone is supposed to take a few days vacation. You and your friends relax, but the adults move around the colony like ants in a hive, fortifying the walls and preparing for the human offensive against the planet. Lots of people to talk to. Tammy is sweeping in front of the stoop of the lounge, humming a little song to herself. As you approach, you see her stand up straighter and rub her back. Now that you know, it's clear she's pregnant. I wonder how you didn't catch on before Petunia. It's still mind-blowing that she's going to have a baby, the first child born from someone who was themselves born in space. It's hard to believe she's only 1 year older than you. Little Tammy, who cried when toys breaks, is scared to leave walls. She's going to be a mom. Tammy looks up at you as you approach. Hello, Selene. It's nice out today, don't you think? She always thinks it's a nice day, even when it's pouring rain. Must be nice to be so cheerful all the time. Let's go with you look beautiful. She smiles and goes a pretty shade of pink. Thank you, Selene. That's so sweet. She does seem a bit more centered and confident than you've ever known her be. Radiates off her like warm, glowing sun. Loom and her head are up on stage, embarrassed in front of the whole colony. You keep thinking, wow, Tammy's really a grown-up now. Tammy leans on her broom with a dreamy smile. Thought about it for a long time, and I talked to Anne and Dr. Instance, she says. I've always known I wanted children. She giggles and thought, lots of them. Why not get started now? I do believe she said at some point she wanted 7 children? And Anne and I are going to run a new creche, so I'll have plenty of help raising them. Same way I was raised, she adds. I might not be the strongest or smartest person in the colony, but I'm going to be the best mom. I know I can do this. Do you ever want kids, Selene? 1 or 2, maybe. Yes, lots. We're too young. The world's too dangerous for them. Ugh, no. Never. Probably go with this one this time, because I do not believe Tangent wants them either. Tammy laughs. That's okay, Selene. It's not for everyone. Sure, you'll make a wonderful explorer or engineer or whatever else you set your mind on to. Tammy goes back to sweeping the stoop, adding a little snippets of lyrics to her made-up song. You walk through the colony when you see a blur of color and motion at the corner of your vision. Bang. Nami collides with you, catastrophic failing limbs, and a high-pitched squealing sending you both sprawling to the ground. Oh my gosh! Nami exclaims. They immediately get their hands on their knees and begin collecting papers that exploded out of their hands when they fell. I'm so sorry. Sometimes my brain is off doing their own thing, and I don't know where I'm running. Ah, they exclaim, dusting their piece of toast and shoving it back in the I gotta eat breakfast, even when you're late. Your enhancement isn't super agility, huh? Don't even worry about it. Watch where you're going. Let's go with don't even worry about it. Nami giggles and continues to collect their scattered papers, their face bright red. Okay, if you say so. Thanks, Selene. Maybe if I had a genetic enhancement like everyone else, I'd be able to watch where I'm going. Nami gets to their feet and offers you a hand, then brushes the dust off you. I actually don't know what my genetic enhancement is, or even if I have one at all. My parents decided to lock off my medical files when I was a baby because they had this wild idea that they wanted me to grow up without feeling like I had to be perfect. They think it's rude for parents to make that choice for their kids. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Ugh, that's smart. That's really smart. Let's just go with it's not all cracked up to be. It's easy for you to say. Captain and I have cool superpowers, Nami explains, putting their hand on their hip and sticking their tongue out with her. The rest of us have to go by on our own wits and charms. Nami wiggles their eyebrows. Maybe I'm just like a galactic cyber prince Umeya, and one day a talking Hopeye will come tell me I have to defeat the Mecha Ultra Neither Beings. Nami starts walking away with you, talking animated with their hands. I know my parents just wanted me to know I can be anything I want to be when I grow up. I don't have to be super strong or super smart in order to be happy. They always told me, nothing and nobody knows what's good for Nami except Nami. And I really think that's true. They stop and turn to you, looking serious for a moment. Sometimes it does kind of feel like, well, Nami squints up to the side. Sometimes I wonder if I'm only good at something because I have some sort of secret advantage I don't know about. Or sometimes I think the opposite, like, if I'm not good at something, I feel angry because maybe I could have been good at it. It was really bad. It was really bad on the Helio because everyone is really good at something. Usually things like marching and shooting stuff. I thought maybe it'd feel different here, where there are people with all kinds of skills, but they sigh. No matter what I try, someone's already way better at it, so I just feel like I suck at everything. Everyone sucks at first. It's the first step to being kind of good at something, Nami says brightly. Thanks, that's from a show I used to watch, and I guess I don't suck at everything. Strike a pose with imaginary pistol. I'm really good at laser fable. Pew pew! Tanya's just working late in the lab this evening, as usual. What's unusual, though, is the smile that brightens her face when she looks up for her microscope and sees you. Selene, oh, I'm glad you're here. I was just... No, actually, why don't you come over and see yourself for yourself? You take a look through a microscope. Look at the shape of the spores. I've only seen this once before when we were studying the shimmer fungus, but this fungus isn't any of the ones we've identified capable of spreading the shimmer. He pushes you aside, looks through a microscope again, then makes more notes on her HoloLens. Just when I think we've got an understanding of something, Selene, this could change everything. If there's more species capable of spreading the spores, then the shimmer response is more widespread than we previously thought, possibly even a planet-wide phenomenon. Tange looks positively energized. Because it's a new species, I can submit a suggestion for its name. What do you think? What do you think? Should I name it after you? I'd be honored. You should name it after yourself. Can't I have something more cool? I'll just go with I'd be honored. Tange smiles and puts your name into her hollow. The slight gesture of her hand, Tange's hollow turns off. She sighs, then rubs her thumb and index finger over her eyes. It's even later than usual for me, isn't it? Time to pack up and get going before the sanitation teams arrive in the morning. She yawns, then blinks rapidly and spies. It seems that even I'm tired. You help her pack up her workstation. She turns off the lights, and with one last fond look of her laboratory. You and Tange take a long way through the colony, walking in compassionate silence towards the general direction of the living quarters. You come to enjoy these walks with Tange, moving like twin spirits through the sleeping world. Tange stops you before you head into the living quarters. Actually, let's not go straight back. I want to stay out a little longer. You and Tange climb up onto the walls. The wind coming from the forest is stronger. And keep walking. The wilderness is dark and impenetrable past the defensive perimeter. Tange keeps you on the outside edge, subconsciously or possibly consciously putting you between her and it. I hate thinking about what's out there. Predators, dangers, diseases, all the monsters that have terrified humanity since the dawn of time. And they're right outside these walls. Let's just go for as long as keep them out. She links her fingers behind her back as she walks. All the same, I think we finally come to appreciate it for what it is. Opportunity. How many scientists have truly been afforded this freedom of discovery? A seemingly limitless buffet of knowledge. Tange looks forward to the wilderness and smiles wistfully. Your tomb is full of dangers, yes, but I find myself also curious sense of wonder. Awe, perhaps. You walk a little further before Tange, seemingly in the middle of some deep thought, stops and turns to you. Selene, are you happy here? She winces and bites her lip. No, I don't mean happy, precisely. Happiness is irrelevant to the survival situation. But I mean, do you imagine a future here? One that would have you have chosen for yourself, should you have been given the option. Are you fulfilled? I'm just existing day by day. What a miserable existence we lead. Honestly, I despise the physical realities of living here. The smell, the cramped quarters, the constant threat of attack, of disease, everyone's meaningless interpersonal squabbles, amplified by the proximity and stress. I can feel them weighing me down. But we don't have a choice, do we? Therefore, the only rational decision is to make the best of what we have. To accept otherwise is to accept misery and death. That's the tangent you know so well. You can trust her to stay logical and focused no matter what chaos may come tomorrow. You walk until the chill of the night settles into your skin, then descend from the walls and walk back to the living quarters. Tange hesitates at the threshold. Anyone else might have noticed, but you know Tange. Probably better than anyone else in college. Even her own brother. What's wrong? Oh, nothing, Tange says with a laugh. Just thinking, which is nothing new. She looks at you with a faint smile. You, probably more than anyone else in the colony, knows what it feels like to conceal your true feelings under a serene facade. I mean, no offense, but we're alike in that way. I can't help but feel unsettled by everything we have yet to face. Tange laughs. Unsettled is an imprecise word. Do you want a hug? Everything's going to be okay. Asking for a hug, I think, is fine. Tange awkward silence conveys that she has to consider this deeply. Yes, I do, actually. You enfold Tange in a gentle hug. After a few seconds of stunned inaction, Tange wraps her arms limply around you as well. You spread your hands wide and hold more tightly, trying to manifest the right kind of comforting energy to resonate through Tange's shields. Either you manage or she simply resents, but Tange rests her head on top of yours and sighs. This is where I talk about how physical touch encourages the production of oxytocin, she murmurs, which is a bonding hormone that implants feelings of calm and security. You can feel her smile against your hair. I know you know that, though, so I'll simply say, this is nice. Thank you. Tan straightens her coat. I am aware that I'm not the easiest person to befriend. Among my many admirable qualities, I'm often cold, burlesque, and tactless. I owe you many thanks for taking the time to see through that. I don't know why you would have bothered, but I'm grateful. She looks towards the living quarters as if steeling herself. You don't have to be alone tonight. Oh, an interesting proposition, Tan replies. What precisely do you mean? We could keep each other company. Tan scrutinizes your face for any hint of ulterior motive, convinced you have none. Her shoulders droop. I'd like that. Thank you. She says, defeated. You retire back to Tanja's quarters, a larger sterile sleeping room with a few human touches, save for neglected plants and a ratty blanket that you recognize as Chief Steward Anne used to knit by hand for every kid. There's a physical photo of Tangent inches posed awkwardly together, as if they'd been working on something and told to take a break to smile for the camera. You keep Tanj quiet company for a few hours, trading bits of conversation until the first sun starts to rise. You look over and see Tanja's eyes have closed, and her face has finally gone slack in much-needed sleep. You pull the blanket over her, and close your eyes as well. Catch a few hours before you're both expected back at work. And check the robots once more. Working closely with Congruent, you have a lot of opportunity to chat. She's been featured in your life since you're before, and you're always taking her for granted. She tells you how she works and the engines of the ship work, and how the bots in the network communicate with each other and constantly, like a cage full of chattery little birds. Sometimes she talks about Hal. It's clear she misses him. She shares that it's because of Hal that she has emotions at all, one of the many modifications Hal made during their long journey through space. If anyone has anything to say. Guessing not. Those usually trigger between months. There's an egg on the ground, though. Play in the medbay for a little bit. Because the medbay connects to the genetics lab, Tangent is often nearby working on her own projects here. She doesn't like to make small talk. In fact, she often seems to dislike it when you're working in the medbay. She's always been a bit aloof, but she's becoming more like a chief engineer every day. One day, when you arrive to find Tangent watching Instance work at the medbed, Utopia seated in the bed with her bloody mangled leg rise, waves cheerfully at you. Oh good, you're here, Instance muttered, peeling off her gloves and stepping away from the medbed. I already set the bone, just babysit the monitor while it works. Your eyes are drawn to the carnage. That is Utopia's leg. It's super, super gross. It's so bad you can see the bone. And the pulsing of the muscles under the leg. The insides of her body should stay inside. Tanj is watching intently. Talk to Tanj, distract yourself, ask Utopia how it happened. Watch and try to learn something. Let's talk to Utopia. What's this? Utopia asks, slapping her thigh. Oh, the usual. It's like the third time. I've broken my leg since we landed, though this one's probably worse. She laughs, trailing off the side. Glider accidents. Those things are fun, but boy howdy are they dangerous. I just love the speed, though. Utopia pets the medbay thigh. Good old medbay here forgives me, don't you, girl? I'll be up and walking by dinner. Bodies are always changing, though, you know. Utopia whackers plays at the medbay's anti-pain pill starts to make her drowsy. You aren't the same person you were born as, and who knows who you'll be in 20 more years. Mind and body is always making themselves new. Nature's change. Change perks up and she takes her eyes off the leg to look at Utopia's face. Our bodies are exactly as we want them, Utopia, she says with pride. They didn't match the women we were inside, so we changed them. Nature isn't what changed us, she raises her chin finally. Science changed us. Gene changed us. And in 20 more years, we'll still be exactly who we want to be. Nobody else. Utopia just chuckles sheepishly as this and her lids droop as she starts to snore. And we're at wet, coming up on the next glow. Grab Rex for my monthly hug. Rex is chatting with one of the young soldiers from the Helio, smiling wishes it down at her with his hand braced above her head as she giggles. When she sees you coming, her smile drops and she beats a hasty retreat, avoiding your gaze. Rex turns his confused expression melting away to delight when he sees you. Well, hey, Selene, he explains. Some of the Helio are weird about being seen with me, he continues unbothered. She'll be back. Nami still comes by to hang back, even though they don't work in the lab after the accident. I like to visit the bots and see what you're tinkering with. I'll always be a fan of all robots. And we'll just continue going between these. You're cleaning the med beds when an explosion rocks the ship. Shockwaves reverberate through the walls, sending all the lab instruments clinking and causing the Strato's busted-up skeleton to groan around you. What the instance says, cut off by the sound of the fire alarm. Within minutes, the med bay is carefully controlled chaos. An explosion in one of the engineers' labs hurt 5 people, but you only have 2 med beds. You insist triage the wounded, getting 2 of the worst-off patients in the med beds. What you're doing what you can for the others. What do you expect? Instant yells at the one she's working on as she tries a tourniquet. As chief engineer, she probably feels the most defensive. You need to be more careful working around this old tech. The engineer you're assigned to help looks pale. Even though the burn on his leg isn't serious, he's sweating, but his skin is cold and clammy to the touch. You tell Instance, who just glosses over. Some people get squeamish at the sight of their own blood. Patch him out and get him out of here. There are more serious wounds that need tending. Take a closer look at him. As you bend his engineer serious, you talk to him. His breathing is hitching and he keeps rubbing his shoulder. He's sweating a lot. You ask if he gets nervous around doctors. He says no. He feels strange right now and he's not sure why. On a hunch, you scan him with a heart monitor. He bleeps immediately. The man is having a heart attack. You bump him to the top of the queue for the med bed, or queue, and stand back as the bed adjusts his heart rhythm. Checks a near artery that can cause blockage on distress and asks you if you'd like to fix it out. You press yes. Wow, easy. Dr. Instant glares at you. Didn't I tell you to discharge? She starts then looking at the monitor. Ah, good catch, Selene. Yay, save someone's life by ignoring. Late wet, and then the next glow will be here. Nami and Diz are working in the lab this month. You think it would mean less work for you, but somehow the two of them always seem to create more work. Spend more time fixing Nami's mistakes and trying to get Diz to actually finish his requisitions instead of just tinkering than you do on your own work. And into the glow. Oh, new perk. 5% chance to gain 1 extra skill. Finally, an acceptable season, Tange says, looking relaxed for the first time all year. Not too bright, not too warm. Only it's like this all year long. One more check on the med bay, and then we'll let all hell break loose. Working the med bay when Tange rolls in. Heads straight to the medicine cabinet and pulls out 2 containers. She studies them critically. Hey, Selene, she says. What's better for focus, study buddy or zingfetamine? Both the things she names are pretty strong stimulants, not the type of thing you're supposed to dispense freely. She's been busy with instants in the lab lately. Maybe she's doing extra schoolwork or something. Why do you need them? Either one is fine, take your pick. You can't have those. Might as well ask, why do you need them? I need them to study, Tangent says defensively. Not that it's any of your business. You thought she didn't even need to sleep. Why would she need those? Tangent frowns. To concentrate, okay? I'm pulling all-nighters now. And bleep tea makes me jittery after the 4th cup. You gonna let me have them or not? Nope. I don't care if you like me less. No having drugs. Tell her no. Stimulants aren't healthy. She's too young to be addicted to them. Who even knows what they'll do to her modified sleep cycle? So what? You gonna tell on me? She says fine. Let's see how that goes. She stops out in the huff. Ten minutes later, Instance walks coolly and gets the pills for Tang. She tells you to do your job so she doesn't have to do it for you. It's fine. She has permission. Just not gonna give them out freely. You're just putting your boots on to grab dinner in the lounge when you hear the colony sirens begin to wail. It's the yearly attack. Ugh. Couldn't have waited until you ate dinner? Rude. Outside your window, you watch the colony defense begin to mobilize. Halipalm chimes the usual reminders for all civilian colonists to stay indoors. Well, we all know that we don't know how to not be or follow rules and not be stupid. You head to the garrison to grab a plasma rifle, then report to the front. Chief Rhett, surprised to see you, but assigns you to a squad with an Anamane and tells you to get up on the walls and do your best. On the other side of the walls is more Xenos than you've seen in one place ever. They seethe out of the forest, large and small, herbivores and predatory, fungal and otherwise, flying and crawling and hopping towards the colony with a single-minded determination. The air fills with a few of laser turrets and crackle plasmas. The enemy's front line collapses, only to be replaced by even more Xenos. Just as many as before, if not more. There's no end to it. Firebreak turns into a graveyard of dead and dying alien bodies. Wave after wave, crawling over the corpses until they roil at the base of the walls like the foam on a wave when it hits the shore. You hear the walls creaking underneath you, but they hold strong. There's no sun to set and glow, but the night falls on the battlefield without any break in the fighting. Your fingers begin to cramp from pulling the trigger on your plasma rifle. Finally, you're relieved by the second guard shift. You walk straight into the garrison and right into dreamless sleep. You're woken 6 hours later for your next shift. The kitchen is provided the soldiers with pressed soy rations and hot bleep tea, which you grab then make your way right back to the walls to survey the carnage of the night. As you arrive, you're hauled upon last sight with a priority message. Security personnel, we're under siege, the security chief says right at the point. On Earth, sieges were used to break a city by starvation or drought. We have plenty of food and water. Guards will rotate 6 hours on, 6 hours off. So as long as we keep the Xenos on the other side of the wall, we can hold them off for days, weeks even. Weeks, everyone exchanges exhausted looks. He pauses and adds, we can do this. We're stronger than them, and we're not going anywhere. You and the other soldiers fall into a fitful rhythm, alternating shifts on the wall with brief snippets of sleep. Gunfire becomes the soundtrack of your days, which begins to smear together like paste. Anamane in particular is suffering. She volunteers for the relief shifts, sometimes pulling doubles or triples on the wall. You catch her mechanically shoving soy porridge in her mouth before seeming to fall asleep sitting up. A minute later, she jolts awake as someone's spoon clatters against their bowl. Tempers grow short as fatigue sets in. 6 days pass. You're on a shift, watching the Xenos batter themselves against the walls. You feel your eyes on focus at the sheer formless horde of them. In all these days, they still haven't breached the colony. Sometimes they even seem to retreat, ebbing backwards and forming somewhere else. It's behavior you've never seen before. A group of monsters break from the tree line. Nothing new except for one of them. One of the Xenos looks different from the others. Almost humanoid. The creature looks suspiciously like a person, at least from the waist up. Down below, it's a lumbering chimera, vaguely reminiscent of a faceless, wrapped in tattered bits of flesh and bony protrusions. Something like hair flutters behind it as it turns and looks right at you with an unnerving, malevolent intelligence. Your rubber eyes. Yeah, it's still there. It approaches to the base of the wall, and the other monsters surge forward to pound against the gates. Shoot at it or try to talk to it. Why don't we try talking? You wave to it and the creature sneers, and to your surprise, it approaches the wall. Little weed. They, addresses you in halting, rasping voice. Everything seems to be quiet nearby as you strain to understand this talking horror. Child of breeding rabbits, feral pid, kudzu. Its unnerving human gaze pierces you. Introduced species, you understand? You wonder if you're hallucinating. Is it holding a gun? You slowly nod yes. You understand the words, at least. I am noctulent, the monster says through a voice box that seems better suited for guttural roars than humanizing. A gardener. Destination. Pest control. You realize with growing horror that this creature's hair is actually alive somehow, waving in the wind that isn't there. The clicky-clacky bits wave and snap at you as if they have minds of their own. You can't look away. What do you want? Why are you trying to kill us? Bring it on, you ugly asshole. Let's try... What do you want? Who are you talking to? You jump as Anamane sneaks up behind you, and when you look back, Neculent gone. Let's just be honest and delusions. You babble about talking monster named Noculent, but Anamane thinks you're having some kind of mental breakdown. The siege is getting to everyone, Slane, she says, patting on the soldier. If you're freaking out, go lie down. I'll cover for you. Finally, after the 6th day of the siege, you look down the sights of your plasma rifle and see curious thing. The monsters are retreating. As you gather with other soldiers in the colony square, you holler upon my side priority announcement from Governor Loom. The alien attackers have been defeated. The siege has ended. Loom smiles broadly and puffs out his chest. Another year, another win. You're welcome, Vituma. You're welcome, humanity. You're welcome, you hear and see Chief Ret nearby looking away. What did he do? He rants to his security officers. Race out there like an idiot with his honor guard, defend strategically on sound positions, put himself in danger so he had to save his overstuffed ass? Soldiers all shift around comfortably, but no one disagrees. And when I actually needed him, taking his 12-hour beauty rest while the rest of us slogged through endless shifts. The soldier is exhausted from the siege, so the crowd in the square disperses quickly. Only a few Helios remain, covertly filming Rhett while he continues to rile against Loom. On the horizon, the first few rays of the quiet streak the sky with lavender. You watch Utopia's reclamation crew head out through the gates to become vaporizing xenocorpses for their copulent molecules. That night, you have terrible dreams. You imagine that you're sieging the colony, that you're a creature crawling in the mud on your belly, the ozone crackle of plaster arcing overhead. With your talon claws, you rip into the walls like they're made of clay, stuffing choking handfuls of it in your mouth. In a moment of lucidity, you try to pull the clay from your throat, but no matter how hard you pull, it just never ends. You jolt awake when you realize you've been pulling your own guts out of your throat. Just agreeing. You're shaking and coated in a film of terror sweat, your heart pounding. You don't find sleep again before dawnbreak. So we're at the start of age 13 or 18, which seems like a pretty solid stopping point. I think what we'll do is go around and give a quick chat with everyone and then probably call it here. It's a little bit earlier, but I scheduled to 4:30 and go longer if I need to. But as I said last time, I like to stop at a good stopping point, and this is a fairly solid stopping point. So we'll just do the run around real quick. Tammy is humming to herself as she knits a little sweater. "Well, hello, Selene," she says. "Did you know back on Earth they used to color code their babies? Blue for boys, pink for girls." She laughs and shakes her head. "I can't think of anything more ridiculous." Spot Rex laying his makeshift hammock, and he's not alone. He shushes you as a pros, places his finger on his lips and indicating the person snuggled up under his arm is fully asleep. "Hold on to the hammock," he whispers. "I'm going to try to get out." Between the two of you, manage to get Rex out in the hammock without waking up his sleeping friend. Rex looks a little tousled and kiss-bitten. His eyes are bright with mischief. "Tired, I'm right out," he murmurs, pleased with himself. What you need, Selene?" "New season, new hugs." You follow the sounds of laughter and find Nami and Rex playing catch. Or maybe the word for the game they're playing is more like fetch. Nami throws the ball as far as they can, and Rex tears after it, climbing and leaping over anything in his way like he's not even there. Yep, Rex got a little older, so his outfit changed just a little bit. Rex hands the ball back to Nami, and Nami winds up to throw it again. In the last second, they palm the ball and hide it under their arm. Rex barrels off away from Nami with his ground-eating stride and gets pretty far away before he stops and looks around confused. Looks back at Nami, who waggles the ball at him and bursts out laughing. "Nami!" he shouts, running back to them. He picks them up and hauls them over his shoulder, and Nami shrieks with delight as Rex spins them around. Two Helio cousins in costume uniform glaring archly at Nami and Rex. Rex sets Nami down and then spots over Nami's shoulder. "Well, hey, Selene," he says, and Nami turns around and gives you a stunning bright smile. Rex slings his arm around Nami, and Nami lays their head on their shoulder. They're both breathless and beaming with happiness. Let's go with what's the deal with your Helio friends? Rex and Nami look at each other and stick out their tongues. "They aren't our friends," Rex replies, shrugging. "All they want to do is act like mindless little soldiers and measure each other's dicks." He rolls his other eyes. "So many more fun things to do with..." Nami thumps Rex on the checks. "Don't be gross," they whine. "Sorry, Nami," Rex advises. "I mean, we just don't need anyone else. Ever since we were kids, it's been me and Nami here. They're my best friend. I love them like my sibling." Nami smiles shyly and hides their face. "Rex is my best friend, too." "Ah, buddy," Rex coos and wraps his whole body around Nami's smaller one. He kisses them noisily on the cheeks, stuffing into their hair, while Nami shrieks with laughter again. "We were always the odd ones out on the heliopause," Rex says. "People thought we were weird, you know? You probably don't see it here because everyone's so awesome here, but compared to the rest of those smug, boring jerks, we really stuck out. But I'd rather be different than be like them." Looks down at Nami, who booms up at him. "I got to be different with my best friend, which was awesome. We just hung out together and had our fun while everyone else trained to be proper little soldiers, right, Nami?" Nami frowns. "Like Vase and all his cronies," they say quietly. "It wasn't all fun and games." Rex shushes Nami and strokes his hand through their hair. "I know," he says, "but that's in the past. We don't have to grow up and be soldiers. We're here now, and there's so many more people we'd like to be friends with." He shoots you a smile. "Like Selene." "Yeah, I'm friend." "So we call it girls, maybe more than friends." That's inappropriate at this point. "Yeah, I'm your friend." Rex smiles and holds out his other arm. "Group hug!" Rex gives really good hugs, and Nami's no slouch either. Nami's typing away at their hollow palm, their tongue sticking out between their teeth. "Sorry, I just gotta get one more line of code down," they mutter. After a few seconds, they close their hollow palm and give each other. "I know I'd have to learn this code to write a hollow now, right? No matter how done I think it is, there's always something else I can tweak." "Want to make something?" "You know I do," Nami exclaims. "I've had this great idea in my head for months. I want to build something huge, and I need your help." Nami walks you through their plan to craft the biggest thing yet, a massive dilly filler float that you can carry on your shoulders using mushroom stifts to puppet around and make it look like it's dancing. It's a huge hit, especially for the younger kids. You get a workout, and you get to make something beautiful. Mars is brushing out her long, luxurious hair. "I know it's an extravagance to have such labor-intensive hair when we technically have a war going on. She says, making a dismissive hand gesture at the war. But honestly, if we don't remember to treat ourselves once in a while, what's the point? Besides, she says, going back and brushing, it's my duty to raise the average level of sophistication here. Cal claps you on the back. Selene, good to see you. Have you come to see the new genetically modified hybrids? Tan's on some real future tech with these ones. Apparently they're going to yield like 4 times as much fruit. And the rind is going to be edible too. I'm guessing you still don't have anything useful to say, but... Yep. You watch Anemone around the side garrison, leaning against the wall with her eyes closed. You call her name, and she jerks away, her hand going on her rifle. What? What's going on? Are they here? And with that, I believe that's everyone. So we will save here for now. And should be able to pick up here, no problem, next week. Just continue on, and we're 18 now, right? Yep. Game ends after year 19, so ideally next week will be the end of this first run of Exocolonist. Should be exciting. Just learned about the potential intelligent life out there, which I was afraid of. You know, killing before releasing a plague on them, beyond the idea of the plague going wrong in other ways. Genocide is not a great idea in general. Genocide. But hope everyone had some fun. I know I'm still enjoying the game. I mentioned it before, but if you are enjoying the game and don't already own it and want to go through your own playthroughs, because this game has a lot of branching paths. It's still on sale on Steam for one more day right now. Because I will not be doing all the branching paths on stream. That would be a lot of streams. But I very well might do some more playthroughs off and then do a later playthrough for one that I enjoyed down the line. We'll see. But unless there's any quick questions, I do hope that anyone that's watching this has a wonderful day, and hope you all stay well. All right, then. Bye-bye.